Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You're watching Coin Poker's Cash Game World Championship. I'm your host, Johan Merlo, and we're back. We're live last night. There was a lot of action, and wake up today. There is still a good amount of tables, actually. Currently 6 tables. 5 of them are full, and we're going to be joined by the Wacko momentarily as well to check in with us here at day 8 of 28 days. So almost a third of the way into the challenge. And it seems like with the latest update, which happened a few hours ago, Davy Jones is pulling further ahead. And Linus is still downswinging at the very bottom of the rankings. Currently not in the mix. We've got Limitless actually today in the mix as well playing. I'll call Mr. Wacko already, see if he's ready. There's somebody else new also in the challenge, this Gamble here. I don't think... Yeah, that's the first time we see this player.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Actually, I had very little sleep because last night the games were going, so I was doing a stream. And then we're supposed to stream you and I today at 12, and it was like 4 a.m. And I was like, okay, maybe I need some sleep. So I went off, slept.
Sleep is overrated. Sleep is overrated.
Yeah, apparently. So how much have you been following the actions so far? Have you kept up with the leaderboards?
Yeah, I've been looking at it a little bit. Less than last time, but I am sort of up to date with what has been going on. Let me straight away actually look at the last leaderboard, so I'm up to date as well. There were actually some names that I thought was missing compared to last time.
Okay.
Like one that stands out is Absolute Top Up. Do you remember him from last time?
Yeah, sure. I wonder why he's not playing.
I did a podcast with him after that last World Championship, and normally I get inspired right by podcasts, people telling the story. But this absolute top of guy, it was kind of the opposite. It was like, okay, if I'm up against these type of geniuses, I have no chance, basically. So it kind of had the opposite effect. One of the few podcasts that I actually had kind of that feeling afterwards, like.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a bit surprised that I didn't see him.
And looking at the leaderboards, then we have Davy Jones in first place, TaxHere second, Voidaments. Not very big volume in comparison, with some, but still pretty high up there. Anything that stands out? I sent you a list, by the way, of like if there's some nicknames you might not know, you might be able to see who some of those guys are.
Dunkaroos was Meek Bill. I got that. Actually, I was scouting him for a podcast as well I think a year ago or something. So maybe I'll reach out to him again. Let me see. David Jones, obviously no surprise. TaxHere, no surprise. 464. And do they need to reach like a minimum volume goal like last time in order to qualify?
Yes.
Like 20k hands or something?
20k again.
20k, okay. Yeah, so some of them have to pick up the volume like 464, lolvoidaments. Dunkaroos, this shit confusing. Oh, that's very few hands. Mr. Lumberjack. Let me check that list that you sent me. Station Steve. Station Steve. Yeah, I know that nickname.
And we got Prodigy in the mix. Somehow, I mean, he has 6k hands, which is very decent. Somehow, I feel like the last few days I somehow missed whenever he was playing. So maybe he plays like afternoon.
I mean, I remember Prodigy. When he plays, he doesn't like to play too much table, right? In this type of lineup, like 2, 3. So, yeah, decent volume, 6k.
And Llama in the mix as well.
Yeah, Llama, good to see him revenging himself from last time.
Yeah, he hung out with us 2 days ago on the stream for a bit. Also,
Yeah, I
while
saw that.
playing.
Yeah, I saw he streamed, and I saw you streamed with him and Yolam, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
fun. They were both playing.
Yeah. Sickos. Asking themselves each other questions while in hands together.
Yeah, it basically turned into live poker.
Yeah, yeah. Kayhan is in the mix. Youssef returns. Youssef played very little volume during the first one. Here, I think he's... I don't know if he already exceeded what he had played last time, but he's on 2K hands and playing a little bit. Flushy also returned. Joe Adams in one of the first few days was leading. And then ever since,
I
not
remember
been
he
as
also
well.
took a shoot last time, right? But I believe he lost like 100K or something and called it quits. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Didn't you have him on the stream as well? He said, I reserved 10 buys, took a shot.
Yeah, I had him on the
I
stream.
could be wrong.
But we didn't understand much because his microphone was not the hardest. That's the joke. I don't know if you remember that.
8K hands, that's definitely good volume.
Yeah.
Barrack back, Jason Gill. Yeah, like the usual suspects, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Muniz.
Oh, hi, Mark. Not playing much. And Light.
Let me see.
Hop in there.
And Light, I remember he in the last championship he came towards the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, legend as well. Long time.
He chats a
It's
lot.
funny that like you would say, right? Obviously, there are some new names, but if you look at like who are like the established high stakes good cash game racks, I feel like for years and years it's just been the same guys.
Yeah. Maybe as of like really late, or like very recently, there hasn't been new names. You mean, right? It's been like more the established guys.
Yeah. It's always been kind of the same guys.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Barak not doing that hot, and then here, so you know there is anti-tables. They don't usually run unless some of the players schedule for them to run, and kind of the appeal is to try and attract some MTT players to also play in that sense, obviously, because there's the anti, it's going to play quite a bit differently. And two of them are side by side here because they played in those. It's Trackmaniac, which is Bowie Effect, and then Tony Romo, Chris Brewer. So they played like similar volume, just a little bit.
Brewer. Funny, I don't understand why they why don't they just play more anti? I mean, I assume they want to play with these guys.
Yeah. I don't think too many of the cash guys necessarily want to go out of their way, especially if it's only going to be like one or two tables and then they're playing normal tables next to it. Maybe it's like not ideal. So I think so far it was just a few of the cash guys that agreed sometimes.
I mean, they
Decky was one of them.
this internally, right? They, I assume, I think probably Kaki, right, went to talk to everyone, and there was just a clear preference for no anti, I assume.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the way they decided to run it. Instead of doing like mid stakes 1 week with one and 1 week the other, they just have both tables open. It's same with show and no show, right? Not every table is show here, but the rule is the first table that they open always has to be show. Sorry, go ahead.
Makes sense. I like the. I saw yesterday, right, the VIP game with the 7 deuce bounty and the ante. That is the way the game should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, I understand for the high stakes cash game world championship, you want to keep it less of a party format. Let's call it that way. But yeah, definitely at the moment I find that more enjoyable.
So we've talked a lot with all the guests about how the amount of hands currently is like such low volume. It's kind of hard to read too much into it as far as like who's not doing well. But Linus at the absolute bottom of the rankings, 15K hands.
Probably a combination. It is usually a combination of. Actually, I do disagree. I think. So I think I have a different opinion than what most people say about because they always ask, right? Oh, how much volume do you need in order for it to really show who's the best? I actually strongly disagree with the numbers being put out there. I think it's a way smaller number because I feel like win rates are way higher. Like the win rate differences between players are way higher. in individual moments. So, for example, sure, if you zoom out the grind of years, right? The win rates can be closer together because one month you're playing better than the other month. But I feel like if you get someone on his A game this month and who really came in prepared, like Prodigy did last year, and he's just really feeling it, I think like the win rate that you and the odds that you gain over your opponent is just so big that if you would put just that number in a variance calculator, it is way less variance than you actually think. Sure, zooming out over years and years, you know, you cannot have that level of focus and dedication and that level of A game for such a long period.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a championship like this, if you're really zoned in, I think even though it's only 1 month, yeah, the better players will just come out on top. The guy who's more focused.
Okay.
And who's really into it. So therefore, therefore your win rate it's bigger, and therefore you need less of a sample, right, to filter out the variance.
Yeah.
So that's a different opinion than I think the majority.
So what number in terms of hands? Or it's not really about like a number in terms of hands, but more about like showing up daily with consistent volume.
Sure. Yeah, like sure. Obviously, 100k hands would be better than 50k hands, but I think even over let's say a 50k hand sample, if someone is really in tune with the games, and is really playing his A game, compared to like someone who's on the bottom who's not, I think the win rate difference between those two is going to be so huge. So therefore, yeah, you need less variance. So obviously, someone has to run at the bottom end of the spectrum, and someone can run at the top end of the spectrum. Like, I'm not denying that. Yeah. But I do feel like skill in a month like this will have a very big part in saying who's the winner. A bigger part than I think most people usually say.
Okay. Yeah, no, makes sense.
Because you understand, like they put in various calculator. Oh, what's your edge long term? Like 3 BB. Okay, that's long term. But in 1 month, if you're really zoned in, it could be 10 BB compared to someone who's not.
Yeah, but you say like really zoned in, so you feel like some players are way more, locked in going into this as some other that will just treat it as like any other grind. And that's a mistake.
Any player listening, zoom out over, let's say you played for a year. There's going to be certain months that you can pick out there where you reflect on it like, oh, that was my best month. Not only just because you had good results, but you felt it. Poker felt so easy. Everything felt so intuitive. You kind of knew always what everyone had. You made good folds. You made good bluffs. You were completely in the zone. At that moment, your edge is just so big. And everyone can also point out one of their worst months where they felt like poker was super difficult and they questioned everything. Like these two, they will filter each other out in the long term, right? Therefore, in the end, you end up with an average win rate. But within that month that you were at your top, you might have been winning 10 BB 100. And the month where you were down, you might have been losing a BB 100.
Yeah.
Right? In the end, you might have an average win rate of 3. Sure. And obviously, there's a lot of variance if you have a 3 BB win rate. But if you have a 10 BB win rate, that's obviously way less.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Just going to catch up quickly with the chat. Youssef, good morning. Anon saying, very unlucky for Linus that Stefan is not playing. Well, it would have been nice to have Stefan make an appearance. Riley Logan said, Linus has been running bad. Where can I view the leaderboard? If you go to the Twitter of Poker Strategy, which is, you can see it at the top, Ian Poker Strategy. There is a link, and there is like daily updates being posted as well. Josh Lynn, hello. Youssef added Marinelli or maybe Pat Howard as 6 GTO bots play each other, and after 500k hands difference between them, 2 bots were like 8 BB per 100.
Yeah, but that's obviously assuming that like they have a win rate of 0, so variance will decide who's the winner. And bots, they don't have these months that we're talking about. A bot doesn't have that month where it's like, I feel it. In the other months, like, do I even know how to play poker? Which is the reality of poker.
Yeah. So your advice is like, when locking in is like doing what's worked best for them to lock in the past? Or like, do you think all of the
Yeah,
all of these aspects that we know of, right? Like hit the gym, maybe have like eat healthy.
there's so many things that go into it. Like obviously there's controllable variables, but there's also like the game has to help you a little bit as well. So for example, it's very hard. So let's say for example you start off this championship, and the first week you straight away go into like quite a bad run, but not also like because there's variance that you can easily estimate. So let's say for example you just get dealt kings against aces 3 times, right? You're like, okay, well, it's pretty clear that that's out of my control. But let's say every time you get like 5 of these close spots, uh, and you seem to just make the wrong decision 5 times in a row, especially with show tables. You make the fold, he shows the bluff. You make the call, he doesn't show the bluff. You understand? And like these kind of things, then doubt can slip in. And then when you start to doubt that, you start to doubt the rest. And then it's very hard to get in that flow. So sure, there's the controllables that everyone kind of knows of, right? To kind of set yourself up to perform well. Like for example, we talked about sleep earlier, right? Yeah, if you just sleep badly every night, it's very unlikely you will get into that zone. But like the game also has to help you a little bit, right? That you know, a couple of good plays to raise your mojo that can like push you over that edge, and then you can get into that flow. And then from there, it's hard to get out of it. And once you're in that, yeah, you need to keep hold on to it and grind it out.
Yeah, I feel like it probably goes back to everything being about balance, like in life and in this case, like in being efficient with everything. Like you cannot, obviously not everybody will be able to like have the perfect workout, diet, sleep, but you need to at least like find some sort of balance. And actually, I'm curious then, in terms of volume played in this, do you feel like from one player to another, there could be like a big difference in number? Like say some player like Linus, he probably could handle like 6 tables a lot better than some other players where like, for example, Owen, he mentioned he prefers to play a bit less, maybe 3, maybe 4 if he's like trying to catch up in terms of volumes. And then the leaderboards a couple days ago, at the absolute bottom, the last 2 spots was the 2 players with the most volume, which were Rigged and Linus. And I was getting a little bit of flashbacks from the mid-stakes championship where Stefan had like the absolute most volume and he was always at the bottom for a long time from a certain point. So how do you think those things correlate?
I mean, it depends, right? Like in my opinion, again, it all comes from kind of the state you're in that makes you push the volume. If you're trying to force the outcome, then I think that usually like drips in over at your play. So then you might also start to play in a way that forces things. So that could obviously be a problem. In the meantime, we see, oh, that's a nice river. What happened here?
The ace 10 and ace 4, yeah, I'll replay it. So 2.5x open from Matt Marinelli on the button. Jason Gale goes 11 bigs in the small blind call. Queen 4 deuce rainbow. You see that's really big.
You see that's what?
1700 into 2300s. Like I always say this, but like for me, my super simplified strategy is like 33% c-bet, like no matter what, in a 3-bet pot. Obviously, it's wrong and inefficient, and on some board you need to do way more. But here I'm surprised because it's rainbow, and there is just a queen on there. Is this meant to put pressure on a lot of hands already, like middling pairs, or what's the point of this?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, you bet 1/3. You don't really make a lot of hands indifferent. So, for example, pocket eights is a quite easy decision. I think this bet put quite a lot of pressure on a hand like pocket sevens, maybe specifically. And let's say, for example, this is also the street where you get a lot of value, right? I would personally bet half pot. I wouldn't go as big as 3/4. But yeah, this is probably the size that makes a hand like sevens indifferent, I would guess. And I don't know how high of a c-bet frequency he's going to use because he probably doesn't have fours and deuces. So maybe also like, okay, I'm not going to c-bet my whole range. So I'll bet 3/4 instead. because basically if you bet a bit more polarized, a bit more top bottom, obviously your top makes more money because more money goes in, and with your bottom you put more pressure on a hand like pocket sevens, or think a hand like king jack of clubs or something like that.
Okay.
So basically, you don't want to have him have an easy decision. Whereas if you face a 1/3 bet here, you have quite an easy decision, right?
Yeah.
You fold 8-9 of diamonds, and that's basically it.
So we do see a call from Matt Marinelli, ace of clubs on the turn. And this time, Jason Gale sizes down. It's because, like, of all the hands that he c-bets this big, will there be less aces? Or I guess this is about, like, how they both hit potentially that turn, right? The sizing.
It's again about making your opponent indifferent, or how I like to always call it, you're trying to give your opponent a tough decision, right? That's, I think, the translation in practice.
Yeah.
If you bet very big here, again, like his continuing strategy is quite simple. Oh, I continue with queen x of clubs, I continue with my ace, I continue with 5s, 4, 5, and that's it, right? You hit your defense frequency. Whereas now, for his 1/3, he has to dig way deeper, right? So again, he's trying to make now a hand like pocket 9s indifferent. Like, pocket 9s now has a tough spot. Because it's like, the price is so cheap, I cannot just always fold it. So again, he's choosing a sizing scheme that makes it hard for his opponent, or that makes it uncomfortable for a lot of hands in his opponent, so he doesn't have just easy decisions, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, so it goes both ways. So it has something to do with your opponent's range and also with the range that you want to bet. So on the flop, like I said, probably it's not betting range for this sizing. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. On a 4-2, like I said, when the sets are in the favor of I love Eivor Vina, he also has quite a lot of Queen X himself. Queen I boards are usually pretty good for the imposition caller. And then on the turn, he's probably saying that he also still wants to. Actually, that's not completely true in this spot, but usually also your bet size is kind of represented for the type of hands that you want to bet. So let's say you want to keep on betting pocket kings. Well, if you want to keep on betting pocket kings, you should bet a small size, right? Because you're trying to get those calls from pocket queens, or like I said, a call sometimes from pocket nines. So it's usually these two factors that come into play.
Yeah. We see Matt Marinelli jam here against this bet. Is this mostly like he's going to make this jam for protection of some hands? Or like what's the argument for jamming versus calling?
Yeah, so usually protection does play a role. So let's say, for example, let's say the turn was a king instead of an ace. So you have king 4. I think that makes a lot of sense to jam. Because then you can get protection from a hand like ace jack or ace 5, hands that have quite a lot of equity. On this turn, there's obviously less protection needed. So if you think about the draws, the draw would be a hand like king jack maybe, that only has 4 outs. Whereas, like I said, if it was 4 deuce queen king, and you have king 4, and he has ace jack, he has the 4 outs to the straight, but also the 3 outs to the ace. So protection is a bit more important. A bit more important. You could say from terms of like protection, maybe not getting any action killers that could play a role. So let's say Justin Gill turned an ace with like ace 5. That's a pretty decent hand right now. I'm not too sure what the jamming strategy would look like here, because like I said, protection is less of a thing. So then, and Justin Gill's probably already allowed to bet a lot. So I personally don't really see a lot of reason to build a raising range. But hey, obviously, I love Eivor Levine is a way better player than I am. So I can see like some bluffs here. Like, for example, 4-5 makes a lot of sense if you're I love Eivor Levine. That I think makes a lot of sense. So I mean, it can be bad. Like to have it's okay to have a jamming range on the turn.
Yeah, how about like a combo
ace
draw?
4 and 4-5 makes a lot of sense. You probably don't really want to bet ace queen. You probably don't want to raise ace queen. Sorry. Because then I guess you block a bit more of the calls. Let's say he has a hand like king queen of clubs that he's not betting, or queen jack of clubs. You can obviously stack that.
Yeah, imagine if he has like a 6-5 of clubs, or king queen of clubs, queen jack of clubs. Would he rather call as opposed to jam?
No, yeah. So you're never you're gonna jam like either a bluff or value here. So let's say, like I said, the bluff probably the prime candidate is 4-5 suited, and then your value, like I think this is also the prime candidate, like ace 4. I guess more fours is probably, I would say, the best candidate, because then you unblock the ace, so he has more ace x that you can get value from.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have an ace yourself, like I said, if you have ace queen, that would probably be the best example. You block a lot of the hands that you're trying to get value from when raising. So usually in the case where you block all the hands that you get value from, your value should come from a different part of Vidin's range. So, for example, the bluffs in that case, right? Because they're more present in his range because you block all the value. So therefore, I would say intuitively, fours makes more sense to jam than ace 4.
Okay. And so we see a call, and it's ace 4 suited versus ace 10 suited. I feel like, again, my personal super simplified strategy is like, if somebody bets small on the flop with a 4 here, I would call, but against a very big bet, calling with second pair? Is that like a must-do thing because of, how good these guys are and how much, Jason Gale is going to be betting in this spot? And like in this case, we see literally has ace-10 of hearts. So while he has a backdoor flush draw, he quite literally has no pair and is behind the pair of 4s of Matt Marinelli.
So which hand would you rather have, 9s or 4?
Against a specific bet, you mean, or?
No, you said like, oh, he bet big on the flop if you only have a 4. Would you rather have a 4 or pocket 9s?
Against a big bet, neither. I hate both.
Okay, so that kind of shows you the power of a big bet, right?
Yeah.
Because you're being put in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just face 1/3, you're not being put in a tough spot. So it kind of already shows kind of the power of the big bet that Jasam used.
Yeah.
But in general, like, you don't really fold one pair, like with improvability. Like pocket 9s, for example, is pretty shit. Pocket 7s here would be the shittiest, right? But I said pocket 9s because, it's a bit of a better hand. But a 4, assuming that he probably does this with maybe what? Let's say pocket 10s as the bottom. Like pocket 9s and 4-5 are the same hand. But 4-5 has way more improvability than pocket 9s. And 4-5 unblocks potential bluffs like king 9, for example. So, although they're both middle pair, and absolutely speaking, 9s is higher than 4-5. 4-5, relatively speaking, is a better hand because it has better improvability. It unblocks the bluffs. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, obviously you're both not very happy, but I cannot imagine us folding a 4. Like I said, the big bet makes more of the pairs indifferent than anything else.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting hands, actually.
And then, like, on the turn for when Justin faces the jam, yeah, it's a matter of, well, do you think Matt is gonna find enough bluffs? And like I said, probably they're gonna be in the pocket 5s region, the 4-5 region, 5-6 of clubs, something along those lines.
And I guess if there are those bluffs, and then he's folding an ace-10 suited here, it's like an absolute disaster, right?
Yeah.
Nice hand.
Actually, in the meantime, I'm taking a look at this hand. So I indeed get like a half pot as sort of the preference, but he went bigger, right? It's always good, because obviously we're just throwing out a bunch of assumptions. So when we bet bigger, yeah, like I said, pocket 7s is like basically the hand that folds. And indeed, like you're making like these pocket pairs indifferent. They're basically 0 EV calls. Like you're always continuing a 4. Kind of everything that, and then like I said, in terms of the value betting range, pocket 10s is sprinkling in there on the flop. But yeah, you're not betting a lot. You're betting half the time. So in terms of my assumptions, it's kind of right there. Then the ace comes. Probably the bet sizing is correct as well with a block for still quite a high frequency. And I'm curious for the raising range. Yeah, so basically Jasem can continue barrel closer range for a small sizing. Like I said, a lot of kings in there, queen X. And obviously, if he bets his entire range, there's a lot of hands to get value from. And then indeed, we can see the 5-4. For example, 5-4 suited is like your prime bluff on the turn. You're almost never jamming ace-4. Which ace-4 did he had?
Diamonds.
What would be the? I'm trying to find the difference. I don't really see much of a difference with ace-4 of spades or ace-4. But basically, it's almost never jamming. Actually, you're jamming more of your ace-queen, so that's like reverse of what I just said. But yeah, not a lot of raising 10%. It's more ace-king. So ace-king is your primary raising candidate. And then 5-4. That's kind of what you mainly build your raising range around.
Yeah, that 5-4 is crazy. I would have.
And then
either folded on the flop or turn.
And basically, any ace calls off versus a jam. Yeah, because if you think about it as well, right? If you continue betting your range, you also have quite a lot of queen X that you're betting. Actually, he even has to call you with king queen.
In theory, but
jack.
like, do you think
king queen,
those guys will be playing like this a lot?
I think up into the jam, people will play this spot pretty well. Like pre-flop, I think everyone just plays it well. Flop, it will be played well. Turn, it will be played well. And then when that's, and I think on the turn raise spot, that's where kind of the guessing game begins. Like, because for example, okay, any ace jams. Well, but ace-4 is not supposed to jam basically. So yeah, but let's say he always jams ace-4, then maybe ace-10 is not such a great call anymore, right?
Yeah.
So then it kind of becomes a guessing game. But here, for example, I see 5-4, 5-6 clubs, for example, in the solver is not jamming. Well, I would assume that's jamming way more often. For example, I had like pocket 5s is sometimes throwing it in there, not always. So yeah, if you think now it's just a question of, okay, do I think he's overdoing it or underdoing it with his bluffs? Because, for example, ace-10 is basically, in theory, versus a perfectly balanced range, is basically indifferent. It's making a little bit of money. So yeah, that then and again on the turn, like I said, the turn size is perfect because I'm looking here in solver, and indeed, like, you're making a lot of these pairs indifferent. Interesting one that pocket jacks is like the snap fold again. Like pocket 8s and pocket jacks are kind of the same hand, just like we said earlier with pocket 9s and 5-4, for example, being the same hand. You're always calling pocket 8s on the turn, and you're always folding jacks.
Is there a chance Matt Marinelli is using? I guess like there is a dynamic where he's playing a little bit more aggressive than than theory, and then he knows that his opponents know that, and he's using that to somewhat his advantage here to go for these more aggro lines also when he has it to then get paid.
Yeah, I mean, there's like I said, up into the race, I think everyone kind of plays the spot the same, and now it's just interpretation of the spot. Because I think it's very hard to understand exactly how this spot plays and how often you're supposed to raise value, how often you're supposed to raise your bluff if you're in match shoes. Yeah. I guess Jasem Gills, then when he faces the jam to kind of play quote GTO, it's a bit more intuitive. If you kind of understand, like, okay, I see bet at 3/4 in the flop at half my range. Now the turns comes 8. I bet my range again. He jams. Okay, well, I have my whole range. So, I have to maybe defend maybe like 50%. Okay, let's call half of that. So it's a bit easier for Jasem Gill, I think, to now play quote correctly from a defensive strategy perspective. So kind of playing just solid. But obviously, yeah, if you're gonna try to read out your opponent, it's a different approach to the game. So it depends how he approaches it. If he's just trying to play solid and be like, okay, I don't really care what Matt does, or if he's like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out if he's over bluffing, and then I would just always call my king queen, or if he's under bluffing, I will just always fold it, for example.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense indeed.
And then kind of how you do it is you usually have to look at, okay, what are the bluffs, and is it easy to find them and easy to overdo it? That's usually the main thing that you have to look at. And here 5-4 suited is the main bluff. He's allowed to do it always. So yeah.
Interesting. Like on the surface, like you see the hand, it's like, oh, one Broadway, rainbow boards, like, maybe it's gonna be straightforward. And then the more you dive into the hand, it's like, actually, it's like really pretty complicated. I like it.
That's poker.
Yeah. We got a question in the chat for you. HDP asked, Wacko, any advice on how to manage betting ranges and checking ranges on flop, especially wide single raise spots? I can't figure out the thresholds, but always struggled with mixing hands. For example, Jack 9 suited on Ace-6-3 boards. They tend to change a lot on board to boards. And I don't know what ND means, but I can't figure out how to correctly hit their frequency.
Yeah, so what is basically referring to in like wide spots, let's say, for example, you play small versus big blind, there's usually a lot of mixing. You see a board, like this board, A6-3. Actually, A6-3 probably is not c-bet that high of a frequency. But there's like a lot of mixing, right?
Yeah.
And people should always understand that the reason why the solver mixes is because they know each other's strategies. So having a little bit of everything is very important because your opponent knows what you have. And let's say, for example, you would always bet 7-8 on this board as your bluff and never Jack 9. Then certain blocker properties for the other guy will increase its EV. Now, obviously, this is a theory consideration. This does not apply in practice. Like, no one knows your range. So my advice would be try to look at what the c-bet frequency is and try to fill it in with more intuitive hands to you. So, for example, a hand like pocket eights for value makes more sense than pocket queens. A bluff like 7-8, okay, makes more sense than a bluff like Jack 9. So try to kind of fill in the spot, picking more pure combos and doing less mixing for yourself. That's how I would approach it.
Yeah. Great answer. Bigfoot Bird asks,
for example, like Jack 9, bet Jack 9 suited, bet the ones with the backdoor flush draw and check the one without it. Another heuristic you can use.
Yeah. Bigfoot Bird asks, love the stream, boys. Any new podcasts coming up, Wacko?
Actually, I'm recording a podcast tonight that, from the looks of it, could be a banger. Like the guy, he's prepared. He just sent me a message, and it was a long message with all the topics we could go into, and yeah, that's gonna be a good one. And actually, I have a bunch of podcasts recorded. My editor went on holiday for a month, so therefore we haven't posted. And I think I have 4 recorded. Mainly, let me see, MTT guy, one cash guy. That was very good as well. So look out for that. And I will definitely be scouting here to see if I can pick. Like I said, Mr. Meek Bill. What was his name on the challenge? Bukarus.
Bukarus.
Try to reach out to him, see if he's interested. And I've also reached out to a couple of guys from the PLO version of the Cash Game World Championship. And actually, one said that he was willing to do it. So I have another guest there. So yeah, listen, a bunch of good guests coming up.
How long after recording do you usually post the podcast? Is it like a month or less?
It kind of depends how much we have in stock. Yeah. Sometimes it's pretty soon, but sometimes it takes 2 months. And like I said, right now, because the editor was out, and we did have podcasts scheduled. So yeah, right now, for example, I'm recording this one tonight. But that one will probably be only released, I would assume, beginning next year. Sounds long, but it's only 1.5 months from now.
I'm trying to get Linus and Davy on the stream, by the way.
Linus and Davy, good luck with that.
Yeah. I mean, they both responded when I talked to them, and they're actually both really nice as well. So, but in the case of Linus, for now I've dropped it because I don't really want to pester him while he's at the bottom of the leaderboards. I always feel like somebody that's losing, I want to leave alone as much as possible. Whereas Davy, he's absolutely crushing. So Davy, I'm definitely gonna follow up and try and get him on there.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that you wanted to get a translator out there, but he speaks English from what I've been told. I remember because I've asked David Jones on every year for the last 3 years or so, and I used to get the same response. And I remember I did a podcast with Enlight, and he said no. Hey, I spoke with Mr. David Jones. His English is perfectly fine because he used to live in London as well. But yeah, hey man, I respect it. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable speaking, doing a podcast in a different language, I completely understand.
Yeah.
He's done one in Spanish, so it's not like he's not open to it. Same with Adrian Mateos. I've stalked him many times as well, but for the same reason, also he hasn't come on. I can imagine, like, come on, you have to speak for a couple hours and not in your native language. It's difficult. I mean, I make mistakes all the time in English. But I don't care.
But don't you think it's more about not necessarily wanting to, or like being worried about sharing too much? Like maybe giving up like EV or Edge, like that's a big part of it, more so than language barrier?
I mean, I'm sure it plays a role. Actually, I got a good answer from, I asked the nerd guy on. You know who that is? Yuri Divalevsky, like high stakes MTT guy. Very established. And he said the same. He said, listen, I'm still very much at the top of my game. And if I do a podcast, I don't really want to hold back. And I feel like right now, if we would chat, I would have to hold back a lot. And I don't want to do a podcast like that, which I think is a very fair answer, right? So he told me that, once he takes a step back from poker, he's the first one to come on. Also, like I usually I don't do my podcast live, and I send them over to them first to check, so they can cut out parts if they want where they think they overshared. So that I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. HTP in the chat followed up. I was trying to bucket them in frequency steps of 25%, 25, 50, 100, and hand classes. Seems like a lot of work, but is that a right way to approach it? Or should I just keep hand classes in pure bet or check categories and try to hit the overall betting frequency of solver?
Yes, the second one. Like you let's say, for example, you grab a random board, you open something that you can build a range in, and you start just clicking hands that feel most intuitive. And then when you're done, you click, I think in GTO Wizard you can do this, you click then compare, and then you can see how far you're off, and then you can kind of add combos to that. But I would say that usually if you understand what your highest value, for example, that A6 3 board, right? I set 7-8 as a bluff for a reason, right? Because that's kind of the best bluff that you can have. In terms of it's air, but it turns most open-enders, and it unblocks a lot of the folds, right? Which are a bit more in the middle, like between the 8 and the jack. So because sometimes also people fill in a range like that and they only have value, for example. Yeah, that's obviously a problem. So I think this is a very underrated way to get better at poker, because nowadays people just look at the solution straight away. But like the way you learn stuff is to build it yourself. So grab a blank range and start filling it in, and then compare, and then see what you missed. Because then also, instead of just looking at the solution straight away, you now exactly know what you missed. So you exactly know what to study. You understand?
I understand. Yeah, personally, I'm sure there would be a follow-up question if HTP deems it necessary.
What was that hand that we saw? Or was it Jack 9 suited?
Yeah, you want to go back over it?
Nice to see, by the way, Limitless in the mix as well.
Yeah.
And I see, oh wait, actually, I have not been paying attention. Exploitable in the mix as well. Shout out to Mr. Mateus. My fellow Brazilian. Half Brazilian. I'm sort of Brazilian.
You're an honorary Brazilian for sure. So this hand,
the most Brazilian gringo.
This hand is an open cutoff, 2.5x, Dunkaroos, 3 bets to 12 bigs in the big blinds. It started about 100-ish. 10-8 deuce with a flush draw. Dunkaroos continues.
I'm not seeing the hand. At me?
It's on stream right now.
Oh, right now it is on stream. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
There was a small delay between us talking and the stream.
You have Twitch, right? I think Twitch is like, for me, it was 6 seconds delay, but seeing as you're across the world might be a bit more.
I'm checking now on YouTube because Twitch was not really streaming well for me. Oh, that's a good flop.
Yeah. So half on this type of board will be like I struggle still, picking sizings in those like single raise spot are already like one thing, but then 3-bet is like.
I mean, in the end, like pick. It's more the range and the frequency that you play with the sizing that you pick. So I think, or at least to a certain degree, I think here, anything like half pot to pot or slight overbet is fine. I think 1/3 would kind of miss the point. But yeah, you can play half pot and then bet a little bit more, or you can play 3/4, bet a little bit less, or you can play pot and bet even less. These are all options. So he chose half pot. That's probably just his the sizing that he chooses. I would say probably in theory you prefer to bet a little bit bigger. How deep are they? They're 100 BB deep.
Yeah, a little bit more than 100.
Yeah, then especially if you go a little bit more than 100 BB, you definitely want to be upsizing this board. I would say.
103.
But,
Okay, so really 100.
I think this is obviously fine.
Yeah.
We get a call.
And then King of Clubs on the turn, and Dunkaroos he continues small.
Yeah, so kind of similar concept to what we talked about earlier, right? When the ace hit on the turn.
We see a call by Jason Gale, Queen on the river. That's the death card for Dunkaroos. He checks though, and Jason Gale the one to jam in position. It's a straight versus a straight, but we got a flush as well with it. Pretty brutal.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of the river check. Yeah, I mean you hit quite a lot of like Queen X on the river that you want to check. You do block some of the bluffs. I guess you gain some value from 7s with a club, 9s. Yeah, very interesting river spot in terms of what you want to do. Also, depending on how much sizings you want to add. I don't know if there was still room actually for another block, but I could see that being a thing as well. But you could also just say, okay, I'm going to jam or check. This hand.
Yeah, he had 63 bigs on the river, and there's 81 in the pot.
Definitely room for another block. I mean, I think the GTO strategy here is going to be very complicated. This is a very... Some hands will block, some hands will check, some hands will jam. I wouldn't be able to tell you. The simplified way to look at this, you have to always... So with every line or every decision that you make, you gain EV by some hands doing something, and you lose EV by certain hands doing the other thing. So what I mean with that is, let's say you check here. You miss value from potential bluff catchers that are now going to check behind, but that could have called your all in, right? But you gain EV by hands that would always fold to your bet, but that would now bluff, for example. And then basically you have to weigh out which hands are more dominant in Vinland's range. So are there more bluffs or are there more bluff catchers, right? Because let's say, for example, he has a set. It doesn't really matter what you do. You jam, he calls, you check, he jams, you call. So you never lose value from a set. So this hand would lose value from... Would 2-pair always jam? Yeah, I think 2-pair would always jam. So you're mainly looking at the 1-pair region. So are there more 1-pair hands that villain will hero call you, or are there more 1-pair hands that villain would bluff if you jam? And then, like I said, it's a matter of combo. So, for example, pocket 7s with a club will never hero call you, but I would see always play this way, and therefore could bluff the river. Pocket 7s, pocket 6s with a club. I think these are like already... So there's already 6 combos of bluffs. Right, and what would be the hero calls? I guess King Jack of diamonds would be a hero call. Wow, he blocks that. That's 9. Nice. King 9 would be a hero call. King 9 of diamonds. So we can... Pocket Jacks would be a hero call. So we can already kind of see there's some logic behind the check. Like it blocks the hero calls and it unblocks the bluffs. Like I said, if he has 2-pair plus or something, it doesn't really matter what you do. You do lose some value versus a hand like ace queen with the ace of clubs or ace king. I think you can lose value from. I don't know if that jams if you check. Not 100% sure. But that's kind of you get some insights into the FOB process.
Yeah.
So the simplified way to consider this, and like I said, you can then also mix in blocks if you want, but then it gets even more complicated. So if we simplify it, say, okay, we jam or check, that's kind of what you have to take in consideration. Do I gain more value by the bluff catchers, or do I gain my value from the bluffs? And whichever you think they're more present, that will determine your action.
And that's established through experience and rigorous studying, I guess, right? To be able to figure out like now you're naming bluff catches on the river, and I'm thinking like I can't even. First of all, I wouldn't bluff catch, but then I can't even think of one, and you're like naming them all.
No, I don't think you can call it that. So it's how do I explain this? It's the concept of understanding where value is generated from, where value is coming from.
Yeah.
And by understanding that, okay, do I gain? So you have a hand on the river, you're trying to make the highest V line. Well, is that in this case, in these type of scenarios, is this by getting called light or by being bluffed? So how do we make money from the bottom of villain's range? That's kind of what you're thinking. Because like I said, the top of villain's range you can kind of forget about because it doesn't matter what you do, money goes in. Maybe actually that's maybe not completely true because if you block, and let's say he has 2-pair, he might not raise it. So, like I said, but if you check, he probably jams, and if we jam, he probably calls. So it doesn't really matter. And then like I mean it's a matter of just counting combos. So that's more math, I guess. Right?
Yeah, but like you still need to have a big picture of the whole thing because like sometimes like you also don't want to check or bet small with some hands that you might have needed to bet big with because then villain would have called.
Yeah, so the which hands you check and which hands you bet, they have to do with like the card removal.
Yeah.
But this again comes from counting the combos.
Yeah.
And counting the combos because like I said, for example, a hand that would call but could check behind is king jack of diamonds, or is pocket jacks, or is king 9 of diamonds, or 10 jack, or 9-10, right? And then we can already naming those hands so you can see how your blockers play. You're blocking the hero calls and you're unblocking the bluffs. So that makes a good candidate to trap.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I like
it's partly quote math. It's just understanding how your hands can generate EV, and then counting combos. And this is again just like that exercise I talked about earlier. Instead of just looking at the solver, what to do, building the range yourself, and then comparing it. These are spots you should just mark in game, and afterwards open a notepad and start counting combos. People, it's a lost art. Just open a notepad and start counting combos, and the more often you do it, the better you get at it. And then you're in game, and then if you've trained your card counting skills, your combo counting skills, guess what? You'll get better at it. But if you just open this hand in a solver and look at it, you will learn nothing.
Yeah.
Or at least you will learn. You can learn like the theoretical concept about, like I said, which hands check and which hands bet. But now to figure out in game what is the highest EV line, that's a matter of, like I said, counting the combos. And the only way you can get better at it is by practicing it.
Okay, I like it. How do you say brother in Portuguese?
Brother.
Yeah, like
irmão.
Irmão. So you would call somebody this typically,
yeah, sure.
Is another slang? Okay.
Yeah. You would say something like "E aí, meu irmão," which is like, "Hey, what's up, brother?"
Okay, well, I got a hand of your Irmão exploitable that I noticed on another table. It was not a show table, but we did ending up seeing something, so I'll show it. I'll keep the other table actually on the side as well, so we can keep tab on a live one.
Yeah, so, I've opened the tables as well to see if something interesting pops up.
So in this end, exploitable opens 2.2x in the hijack. We lose in 3 bets to cut off 7 big blinds. And we get a 4-bet to 22.5. The exact depth is 126 bigs.
All right. 3x, yeah, makes sense. And Biluzin was, let me check. Biluzin, Pedro Toledo. Oh, so Brazilian against Brazilian.
There we go.
Ah, so wait, this is a newcomer. So he, like, I'm not too in touch, but I know that he's been crushing like Isaac GG, and he came up really quickly.
Yeah.
Pedro Toledo. I think he came from Saulo Costa's stable, if I'm not mistaken.
We see a 10% bet on a monotone board here after the 4-bets.
Mm-hmm.
And
Again, like same logic as all the other hands, right? You're trying to pick a sizing that makes it tough for your opponents to play against. And basically, he now has to, let's say he has, I'm going to throw something out there. I don't know if this is true. Let's say he has 6, 7 of clubs. He might have to float that sometimes, but I could be very wrong here. I'm saying some weird stuff now. But I wouldn't be surprised.
so we knew about the psi call. Now we have the psi float.
Yes. So again, like let's say, for example, let's say someone jams here. I have a very, very easy life, right? You just call with high equity hands and fold low equity hands. But this is tough. Now you have to go really in low equity hands.
It's funny because like I feel like to an inexperienced player, like somebody that doesn't know about poker, they probably would think that jamming is like the hardest thing to face. But as you mentioned, it's kind of the opposite, right? Like somebody jams, it's like, well, you could just call really strong pretty much. Unless they do it a lot, then obviously
exactly.
it gets more complicated.
It's kind of like, okay, well, he jams twice the pot. Okay, well, I only have to defend a very, very low frequency of the time. And then, so for example, you never have to call pocket nines without a heart, for example, but you would always have to call it now.
Yeah.
But like, I think people have a tough spot facing a jam here because they don't know their own range. They don't know which ranges they are playing. So therefore, they don't know how high or how low they are in their range, and they don't know if they're gonna overfold or underfold, if they call a certain hand or fold a certain hand. Like if you don't know what your range is, then you don't know if you, let's say for example, 10-9 suited is the strongest hand you ever have here. Yeah, you should probably call that. But if you don't know where 10-9, let's say you have King 10 offsuit as well, yeah, you should probably call that instead of 10-9, right? So you have to understand, you have to know your range.
Yeah, for sure. The board pairs on the turn with the what was the second pair, and now exploitable checks. Is this like a easily recognizable line for you where you can pinpoint some of the hands that he might have here?
Yeah, so basically on the flop, Biluzin is going to be forced to overfold a lot because his range is more suited heavy and Exploitable's range is more offsuit heavy. Think of a hand like Ace Queen offsuit is one of the prime bluffing candidates for exploit out of position. And Biluzin is going to fold most of his offsuit hands, so he either has a suited hand or a pair. So therefore on the flop, sure, he's going to try to dig, but he's going to be massively overfolding. And therefore, Exploitable can just bet range. Biluzin is going to do a lot of the folding. So on the turn, Exploitable still has his whole range, basically, right? Because he just range betted. And Biluzin has already folded a lot. So automatically, the equity advantage has shifted to the in-position player. So therefore, Exploitable is going to have to do a lot of checking. The 5 particularly also, I would say, improves Biluzin because he could have 5-4 suited, 5-6 suited, ace-5 suited. Exploitable could also have those hands, but at a lower frequency.
Okay, so he's
and then I would now assume Biluzin is going to do a small bet. That's kind of how I would imagine this spot to play.
And you're perfect. Oh, man, how are you this good? Get in the mix, Wacko. We do have the small bet.
Poker, it's funny. I did, someone asked me for the podcast. I did a podcast with one of the cash guys last week. And he said poker is more of a sport than a science. And I like that. Like, for example, I can tell you here the science, but performing at a high level is a sport, right? You can study poker in the solver as a scientist, as a mathematician.
Yeah.
You can analyze hands as a scientist, but playing poker and competing at a high level, that's a sport. So it brings different elements with it. But so far, like the bet sizing and frequencies, this is just a matter of understanding the game at a theoretical level, which is like the basis, which I'm pretty sure everyone here in this championship kind of masters, right? So yeah, then your edge has to come from something else. For example, like the turn gem spot with Matt. That's more where, you know, kind of the soul reading begins. But so far, this is like a very theoretically standard hand.
Yeah. Well, the river, though, very interesting. Now brings a 10, so there's 2 pairs on the boards. And I would guess, right, like it's pretty relevant here to try and think who has more 10s. Like we were talking about who has more 5s earlier. Does it appear clearly in either player's shoes here who might have more 10s, if any?
I think it's pretty well divided.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards saying that this kind of depends on Biluzin's strategy on the turn. So he's very incentivized to bet a hand like pocket eights with a heart, for example, on the turn, or pocket eights in general, because against 10% he probably has to call pocket eights. But he's less incentivized to bet a hand like king 10 of clubs, for example. So depending on what he does, but he could also just use a simplified strategy where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna range bet small on the turn. You know, would probably be okay as well. You can bet those hands, check those hands. But exploitable could definitely have a hand like king 10 suited, queen 10 suited. These are like some very plausible 4-bet bluff candidates. Bilazon could have a hand like 10-9 suited, 10 Jackson. It's divided.
Could exploitable have, say, for example, kings and Biluzin aces?
Yeah, that's both still very, very plausible. But I would say exploitable is gonna do quite some raising on the turn with pocket kings.
Okay.
Like the way the turn is gonna play, he's gonna check a lot, then Biluzin is gonna play small a lot, and then he's gonna raise small a lot. So yeah. Exploitable's range is probably quite weighted towards ace king or ace queen with a heart, but that could also raise the turn. Yeah, not 100% sure.
And then so he exploitable checks river, Biluzin jams, and we end up seeing a call, and we have.
What would be the bluff here of Biluzin? Huh.
A 1 hearts hand? Or you said
so like I said,
you said it's more exploitable
earlier,
that has those, yeah.
Exploitable, I think he plays his hand perfectly fine. Like this makes a lot of sense for a hand that you don't want to check raise the turn. Like I said, I think ace just check raises the turn. But queen's no heart. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. His hand makes a lot of sense to play the way he does. And yeah, Biluzin, played. Yeah, I think both hands played pretty fine. River though, I mean, Biluzin could play queens this way himself as well. Bluffs? What are the bluffs for Biluzin? Should he probably bluff something like, I guess ace 4 suited could be a bluff? Huh. What would he need to bluff? I'm curious if he would need to bluff. No, he's not going to bluff a pair. Actually, the river is, I think, quite close, actually, now looking at this again from exploitable shoes. Because he will sometimes pair up. I don't think Biluzin is going to jam jacks. What is the bluff of Biluzin? Probably has to bluff like some random pocket sixes with a heart or something. But that's probably not bluffing because you just win against ace king sometimes.
Yeah, I figured with queens, you're probably not loving life on this run out on the river.
It's probably close to a full. Yeah, also because the board ace king has showdown. Yeah, I'm not really sure. The bluffs are going to be quite hard to find here, and he definitely can have a 10. He can have a 5. He can have a flush. He can have aces. And like I see someone here, ace king with a heart. The problem is with all the bluffs that Biluzin has in position, they also have high EV in check. So ace high, for example, on the river has some EV in check. You will chop against other ace highs. So in order to bluff, you have to now outperform the EV of check. It's a very hard spot for Biluzin to over bluff, and I don't think you're beating any value. So yeah, probably not loving life here.
Yeah. Nice, Endo. Very interesting. Glad I caught that one.
Very interesting.
I saw Sherry Sweet, by the way, try to open a new table. Sorry, go ahead.
Sherry Sweet.
Yeah, CMX.
Nice.
You wanted to add something about the hand?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just curious what the bluffs would be. I'm gonna run this in the meantime.
We had Beppe and Biluzin run aces into aces. They ran it twice and they chopped it. All is well that ends well.
Chop pot.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say. Word on the street.
Do you want me to bring back up the other hand if you look up the solution, or because I have another one that looked pretty interesting just a second ago?
Let me just quickly run this. I need a minute.
Okay.
Just out of personal curiosity, but I would say queens is probably gonna be. So it's gonna be hard for queens to make a lot of money in the call. That's usually a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And then if you look at it in theory and it's indifference, then you don't really lose sleep over it.
No, so this is very important. When a hand is indifferent, you have to look at best versus worst case scenario. So what I mean with that, and was I right? Yes, 6-7 of clubs sometimes has to float the flop. Nice.
Goated. As always.
How often do you think imposition should fall to a c-bet on that spot?
Against 10%?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, not a lot, right? Very little.
5%.
Yeah.
Actually, I was surprised. Okay, so I thought I had some clue when I said 6-7 of clubs should probably float, but I also said Vin is just supposed to overfold and that's it. But that's not true at all. I did not imagine this.
Timibus asks.
Well, okay, yeah. Now we can think of way more bluffs, right? If imposition is not allowed to fold anything, then probably also we sometimes bet the turn. No, very, very infrequent.
But then couldn't you easily be overdoing it?
Yeah, so and that's kind of what I meant with if the spot is indifferent, you have to kind of look at, okay, what room do I have to gain and what room do I have to lose? So the easier it is to find bluffs, the easier it is for your hand to be actually not indifferent, but very plus EV. But if it's very hard to find the bluffs, like it's very hard for an indifferent hand to suddenly make a lot of EV in a bluff catch, but it can easily lose a lot of EV in a bluff catch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you then have to look for. Okay, so the spot definitely, I mean, my 4-bet pot out of position on the mono board knowledge is limited. My experience in that is limited. It definitely is a little bit different than I imagined.
As Cry in the chat asked, are there 4s, 3s, and deuces with a heart?
No. I mean, sprinkled in there maybe in a solver world, but in practice I would not say so. Okay, we're gonna probably see something funky, but because I see jacks sometimes bluff jamming in position low frequency, but that's probably making queens fold, and I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, this is beyond human capabilities. So let me actually see what the bluffs are. So yeah, the bluffs are these floated like 6-7 of clubs and shit. So yeah, that's already, like I said, if the bluff is 6-7 of clubs, your opponent has to be very sharp, correct?
Yeah.
You have to give your opponent quite a lot of credit if you make a call there with queens, because then he has to have floated 6-7 of clubs on the flop. So basically, what Mateus is saying to Biluzin is that he thinks he's a very good player. But you know that imposition should jam jacks to make queens fold and ace. No, jacks is a bluff. Let's move on to a different hand, because imposition jams jacks sometimes. Then exploitable folds queens and kings, but sometimes calls jacks, but sometimes calls a random sprinkled in pocket nines bluff, which actually makes sense. It's actually something that's pretty reasonable if you're exploitable shoes to sometimes mix in nines or eights there as a bluff. So you can then call that, then you fold kings, and so yeah. But the conclusion is both players in the hand probably had no fucking clue what was going on in theory, and they just tried to wing it, and this is what came out.
I have a question. When we review a hand like this, actually, we've been experimenting with something where
Luckily,
instead...
4-bet pots out of position on mono boards are very infrequent.
Yeah. So when we review a hand like this, now we kind of did like the mystery hand like super often, but we experimented a bit, and then I asked some of the guests that were on the stream about how about we reveal one of the players' hand beforehand, so we kind of go through the motions as him, and then I think it was CMX that said, then let's do the defender, like whoever called, whether it's like a 3-bet or a single raise. Do you want to try and do one of those like this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
How would we know?
No, I mean, like I have it in the replayer, so I know, and then I'll make sure I don't show on the stream, and then I'll tell you what the hand is.
Sure. We can do that. By the way, so like this to close off this monad board 4-bet pot out position, like despite it, like you would look at this spot in a vacuum and you'd be like, this is useless. But like there are definitely things going on here. If you look at it with a curious eye, that can teach you something about the game of poker. Like not directly, like you can, it's not something that you look at like, oh, I have to see bet this board with a 70% frequency, so I learned something that I can now straight away apply. But you can, this is like looking at this sim for me, it's like you go to a museum, you look at a painting, the painting is fucking complicated, but you're like, what does the artist try to do in this painting? What is the story that this artist is trying to tell? And out in there, you try to learn a thing or two. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Not everybody necessarily. I mean, that's. Some people will just see the art and think the artist was on drugs, and then that's the end of it. But I like that. I like asking myself questions, but it feels like you ask yourself even more questions. Very interesting.
I think this is a characteristic trait of good poker players is just curiosity. Yeah. Like I cannot look at that hand and not load up the solver and be interested in what's supposed to happen and try to learn from it. I just can't. Yeah. I'm just curious also, if my assumptions are right or if I missed something. And I feel like, I've been playing poker for what? 15 years? All the years that were not great, these are always the years that I kind of lost that curiosity. So, and also if I listen to like all the guests that we've had on my podcast, that's just like the trait that's always there. They're curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Ooh, Sherry Sweet is at one of the tables. Let's go. I think that's...
Shout out Mrs. Sherry.
Must be his first hands in it.
Great guy.
Yeah, for sure. Dropped by the stream the other day and was fun hanging out with him, breaking down some hands. All right, I got this one hand. So we've got Gamble. He has ace queen offsuits. I believe it's ace of heart, queen of spades, or vice versa. And he opens in the hijack, rigged 3-bets in the cutoff.
Wait, you're going to tell me what we have?
Yeah, ace queen off or gamble.
Okay, ace queen off for gamble. Okay.
He opens hijack and then rigged 3-bets cutoff. I thought that ace queen off out of position is like a 4-bet. Is it because it's like, no limit 10K, no rake that you would call here, or is that?
Yeah,
is
you
that
can call a little bit more frequently without the rake, but it's probably low frequency. Kind of depends if you think riggedeck's overdoing it.
Yeah. And then the 3-bet sizes, like it's interesting because against 2x opener, like some people they go 6 big blinds, some they go 7, 7.5. We see like up to 8 sometimes. is there anything that can be read into when we see a 7.5 here? We are okay. We are a bit deeper. It's 165 bigs effective.
Okay, actually, that makes ace queen off. So basically, the deeper you get, the more you would want to 4-bet like a suited ace or something like that. But so, for example, someone in the chat says 4-bet pre-ace queen. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the majority of the times, but there's definitely, if you play around with note locks and stuff like that, there are situations in which ace queen can become a fold, become a call, can become a pure 4-bet. So what you see in a solver, oh, ace queen is always 4-betting. That's under the exact circumstances that the solver is programmed, right?
Yeah.
But that you don't learn poker that way. You learn by poker by changing the variables and see then how the strategy switches. So you can see, oh, ace queen is a 4-bet for this reason, but if I now change this, actually it's better as a call, or if I change this, it becomes better as a 4-bet, etc., etc. You know?
So here in this case, 165 bigs effective. Does that make you lean more towards just calling? And if so, why?
I would probably still 4-bet the majority of the time. It's not too deep, not deep enough for me to really concern. But you know, there's just it can depend on so many things as well.
So we see a call, and then we head to 9-6-3 rainbow. Check, and rigged continues on the bigger sides. 1200 into 1650.
Yeah, get the hell out of there. Wait, this hand is gonna continue? We have ace queen off, you said?
Yeah.
And we're not folding?
Hey, apparently not.
Okay, this is pretty big punt, I would say.
You don't know who won the hand yet.
No, yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay.
But you're already not being not result oriented though.
Let's look at it from the opposite direction. When could, under which circumstances could this be a call? Right? That's probably, like I said, he's already quite loose pre, preferably in the offsuit region, because that's the ones that we dominate. And then on the flop, he's also too loose. I mean, he has to be quite loose pre to be too loose that he cannot see bet this board. I mean, he does see bet 3/4. He cannot see bet the range. I mean, listen, not a lot of good things are gonna happen here, so I would just muck this. Even ace queen suited, usually in these positions, you just have to be very tight. Even like ace queen suited with backdoors is a fold, I would say.
Yeah. All right, we get a min click by Gamble.
Oh, we raise?
Yeah, min click.
Are
min clicks mostly, honestly, every time I see those, I think someone is thinking you're overdoing it, so I'm gonna punish.
No, this is basically the raise size. In this spot, you don't go any bigger.
Okay.
Also, again, like you're trying to make a hand like king queen suited, king jack suited. You're trying to make those hands indifferent. If you go bigger, he just has easy folds, easy calls. Now you kind of put him in a tough spot. I'm not a big fan of this hand because, like, if you want to raise something like, let's say you have pocket fives. That's already way better because then sometimes you win versus ace king. Now you block a lot of the folding range with a hand like king queen off, or just a random ace highs. So now, like, pre is already a bit optimistic, and then flop is very optimistic. No, I'm not feeling this. So I don't know how to continue from here. Okay, well, we raised. Okay. So raising would be good under the circumstances that pre-flop he was already way too loose. On the flop he's way too loose. We think he's gonna overfold and under 4-bet. So a lot of assumptions. Let's put it this way. For this to be correct, for this to not be a punt.
So what hands are in a tough spot here for rigged?
Like I said, first the min raise, like a hand like king jack suited, king jack of spades. That's kind of hands that you're trying to target.
Yeah.
And like the hands that you're trying to make folds, king queen off, ace jack off. So yeah, I just called two combos that you have very much dominated. Ace queen off. You have ace queen off, and you want him to fold king queen off, ace jack off. That's usually just not not a great scenario. Like I said, your bluffs here are going to be coming from low cards, like a hand like pocket fives. Pocket fives is probably just going to mix like raise and fold, I would assume, here. Maybe some calls. Pocket sevens definitely calling.
We get a call, and turn is the 10 of spades. And
Abort.
gamble checks. Rigged
Okay.
checks back.
Okay.
4 of spades on the river. What about now? Do we abort? I think he had a spade. I don't remember which. If it was the ace, I can try and check actually on the.
I mean, I hope for him he has the ace of spades. He's going to make the bluff.
Yeah, he has the ace of spades and queen of hearts.
Okay. Fair. As played, the only street that I do like is the river.
Wait, so you think he should jam then if he has the ace of spades as played? Or what should he bet? Or should he check? It's already so unconventional that you can't pick.
This is the thing, right? Like in poker, like tough spots. So there's sometimes like hands that people ask you for questions, right? And they're very tough spots. And I'm like, yeah, this is a very tough spot. But I would not get into this situation as frequently as you. Sure, you know, sometimes you get in tough spots and you cannot avoid it, but many people get themselves in tough spots that could have been avoided by playing their hand in a different way, on an earlier street. So then we talk about the ass-played scenario. So this for me is clearly an ass-played scenario. I'm trying to think, like, we can have a set, for example, pocket 10s, very credible. Pocket 9s, very credible.
I have some requests to join the call, by the way, by some players. So I'll invite them. You just have to pick up again in a second. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just bet. Like, I can see if you have 9s with a spade, you probably want to jam. So there's probably some jams. This hand will probably bet, block sometimes. I would see a block on the river, on the turn, on the river makes sense because you have a hand like pocket jacks that could block, pocket queens that could block, maybe a 10 that you turned.
Yeah.
So yeah, ace queen probably sometimes jams, sometimes blocks because I can see us having both sizes on the river. Someone said ass play scenario. Okay.
So gamble actually checks and rigged checks back. Guess rigged hands then. Would you care to guess rigged? Like what he has?
I mean, he could have like ace 5 of diamonds. I would guess that.
Okay. It's actually ace king of clubs. And he wins, I guess, ace queen high.
Oh, I thought ace queen was winning. That's why I said ace 5 of diamonds.
You made an assumption, Wacko.
Oh, I see in the meantime, by the way, the Brazilians are getting at it again. Big pot. Is a show? No. It's unfortunate. All right, so you're going to leave the call and pick up the call?
Yeah, no, it's like basically when I add people, it recreates a call, so you have to pick up again in a second.
Sure, no worries.
Calling now. Hello.
What up?
How's it going, sir?
Lama.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you in the mix? I don't think I see you at the tables yet.
No, I played earlier for like in a couple hours.
How did it go?
And I was up a lot, and then I like I lost a bunch, and just kind of quit up 2 buy-ins and said fuck it.
You're doing pretty good on the leaderboard in that, like you're top 10, I think, or you're 9th from what I can see.
Yeah, in my database, I have 60k in EV, so yeah, I'm somewhere around there. It feels like some of these guys are just running insane now. It's hard to run them down.
If you have 60K, then you're sixth. Like if you were to update your specific number, but obviously Davy Jones, 226K EV. That's kind of hard
It's
to
pretty
keep up
hard to
with.
catch up to. Yeah. He's winning at 50 big blinds per 100 for 5K hands. That's kind of high.
Well, luckily he's forced to play another 15, right? So
Yeah.
statistically, he should start losing.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, someone already has 20K hands. Rigged already has 20K hands.
Wait, does he? No.
Yeah, he does. He's over
They
it.
felt like
Oh my God.
getting that goal out of the way, and now they can focus on winning some money.
One
He
tabling
just
for
likes playing poker, man. He never stops.
How is by the way, Lama? Do you feel like you've been approaching this championship different than the last?
Yeah. I've been.
In which way?
Well, just respecting my opponents more and taking it a little more seriously. I think I was goofing around, being a little retarded last time, and now I'm trying to play a little bit better. I also practiced a lot. I played a lot of like 1K, 2K, 3K, some 5K, three-handed, like for a month before this, because there's no other way to really get volume for three-handed unless I play lower, and I did that. So
Nice.
yeah, I wanted to do
Oh,
better this time.
Results reflect your preparation.
A little bit. Still early days. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, when does this end? It's like December something, right?
So it's precisely 4 weeks. So it started. It started on the 10th and it ends December 7th. That's the last day.
Yeah, I see. So at this rate, Davy's going to be up almost 1 million.
Maybe. Oh,
That would be sick. 20K hands, the 50 BB win rate.
We got a brand new guest, by the way, that we haven't had on before, I believe. Berbatov from the Mid Stakes Championship, one of the players that did very well there. What's going on, sir?
Wait, I need to unmute the stream. This is chaotic.
Unmute? You mean mute, no?
Alright, hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
I had like 2 streams open, like YouTube and Twitch. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you been? Why you only
I'm
now
right.
join us? What happened during the Mid Stakes
Yeah, I was a
Championship?
bit out of the loop, but now I'm here. It's fun to follow, though.
Yeah, you follow closely, like you watch a lot of the stream. Any thoughts in shot taking at all?
Nah, that's not a good idea, man. I've tried my fair share of high stakes this year and didn't really go well. So we're chilling, but it's fun to reel and running a bunch of spots if I see something interesting. Mainly following like the 2+2 reel, and then sometimes when I'm awake or like between my grinds, stream.
What did you play specifically? You say you shot take high stakes.
Yeah, well, it was only a little bit, but like some 3K, 5K. If 3K is probably not even high stakes, some 5K as well.
Okay.
That's that.
We see an all.
Are you sharing your screen? Holy shit, man! I'm still adjusting. I need to get in here. Is that the wacko as well?
Yes. What's up, man?
What's up, man? It's nice to talk to you. It's like 2 Dutchmen's talking in English here with a Frenchman.
We got the American and the French in the Dutch sandwich.
Is there an American as well?
Yeah,
What's
Mr.
up?
Silama.
Oh, what's up, man? Nice to talk to you.
Hello. Nice to talk to you.
We got the.
It was nice. It was nice. The gameplay that you posted. It was very interesting.
Oh,
Or live
with
streams.
the Bible.
Yeah. I guess I zoomed in on like the table with the hole cards, the bottom right. It was very interesting.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. That was an interesting session.
So how's it going for you, man?
Sorry?
How's it going for you so far?
Challenge? It's going
Yeah,
well.
the challenge. I'm trying to pop up the leaderboards, but I can't find it. But...
I'll post it in the chat.
I'm up 6 buy-ins in EV and 7 buy-ins in money.
Okay.
And then I'm doing well in my heads up as well. On the tables.
But it doesn't count though, right? For
No.
leaderboards. So,
No,
right,
no, it
so
doesn't
it's
count.
I can see this one.
extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran really hot versus Linus like a day or two ago.
All right. Linus doesn't seem to run so well so far, I think. I saw him also, he was like playing flushy, also on like stream. I also saw him running quite bad, I think, there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to really be going his way. I haven't really played too much with him, but when I did, he was just losing stack after stack. So,
Yeah, it's brutal.
Wacko and
The Wacko had also that run in the championship last time, and then he turned it all around. I think so, right?
Yeah, Linus reached out, asked me for some advice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. As he should, man.
Yeah, you know. He said, "Hey, I saw your YouTube channel. I figured I'd reach out for some advice."
Yeah.
what'd you tell him?
So, you just gotta believe.
A little bit more donkey
Interesting.
donkeys.
Yeah, I gave him some strategical pointers here and there as well.
He did find the donkey though the other day, like a real cool one. Like I think he would have been proud. The 9-6.
After our session, yes.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
Wacko and Berbatov, I don't know if you guys heard when Lama was on the stream last time and he was playing heads up with Linus, but Linus messaged him after a hand. And what did he say exactly, Lama?
He just hit me with the hello ?
But he said, "Can I win a hand?"
Can I win a fucking hand?
Yeah.
I was railing.
So funny.
I thought he was gonna get mad because I mini slow rolled him on the spot. Yeah.
And didn't you slow roll? That was like a full slow roll. It was like last edition, I think, with like the quads. That was pretty brutal, I think.
Oh yeah, I've definitely flicked in some slow rolls, but I try not to do it if someone's down like a bunch already, you know?
They'll try to kick him down when he's lying on the ground.
Yeah, not too much, just a little bit.
And I also saw the slow roll for his jungle ones. I think I remember it as well. Was it a slow roll? I don't know.
I slow rolled jungle?
Or it was a needle. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Apparently, Kevin won a 800k pot on the stream game that he was playing yesterday or last night. You guys?
Well, yesterday he lost a 900k pot.
Oh yeah, 900k. Sorry.
Tripled off ace-9 forward pot or something.
Oh god.
Yeah, he 4-bet ace-9 and then tripled it off and got called.
Who? Yeah. By who?
Sam Kiki.
Okay. Yeah, Kevin.
I was like railing it, and I was feeling the heartbeats for him almost. Yeah.
Which stream was that? It was like something in Poker Go, right?
Yeah, Poker Go.
Yeah, no gamble, no future. Yeah, it was quite the interesting stream. You don't normally see games like that. That's like high stakes and relatively tough in Vegas. It's a little on the rare side.
Well, would you ever play that?
And sitting balls deep with Helmu? Nah, it was like red holding again. I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, Helmuth had like 20k.
Yeah. That's why.
There's like $1 million stack on the table and Helmuth has 20k.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean.
That's sick.
And
he's like the only one who can get away with that.
Yeah. But he was also, I don't know. I think maybe there's also some cultural difference between like Europe and America, how they praise people with just like whole stories about how amazing the opponents were and shit. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To answer your question, I would play that lineup, but it's pretty big. It's pretty scary to play against Kevin Pack super deep, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was like railing it, and that's what I found pretty cool, that he was like 0% money scared, and he was playing very strong. Some spots so deep. in my opinion.
Yeah, he's not money scared ever, and it's like whenever I play against him, like the stack can go in. But you can't just call blindly either. Like you have to really think it through. So it's a challenging type of player to play against.
What I really admire with when you see Kevin play, the amount of time he takes for every decision, even though it seems pretty standard, he still thinks it through.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the
I
most
like that, and
for
yeah.
standard, there's like a sort of standard quote quote check back on the river, and he still thinks about it for like at least 5 seconds. Oh wait, this is actually really standard. And yeah, if you do that for every decision, that's pretty.
I only do that when I have the nuts and I face annoying, just to rub it in. No, but I think I think you mentioned this as well, the Wacko, that's like, I think that is one of the main difference between like mid stakes and high stakes. Like way more detail into the game, and I think that shows it. Shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. Way more open-minded, way more willing to think.
Llama, by the way,
yeah.
how was the VIP game for you?
Oh, I didn't play.
Wait, what? Oh, you didn't wake up,
I
right?
thought
You mentioned
it
it
would
was
have been a
early.
great combo. You and the Pablo would have been a good combo. Though. But
Yeah, no, I was I had a weird sleep schedule. I fell asleep at like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. and then I woke up at 7 a.m. and then I fell asleep again until midnight tonight. So I ended up sleeping almost like 24 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I remember actually on day one, I messaged you about coming on the stream, and you were like, I'm going back to bed. And then I went off because, there was like no guest and maybe the games weren't going strong. And then a little bit later, I checked the tables and you were playing. And I was like, is this how this guy's going to bed? I guess he couldn't sleep.
he was like clicking on his phone in bed.
Yeah, I think like I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and like check the tables, and if the games look kind of good and there's an open seat, like I can't help myself. But yeah, I mean this is like one of those cases. Like I think there are some pretty large skill gaps this year on the tables.
Lama, how do you think Luca Braid is playing?
I mean, I don't really like his game, so I mean I understand like the way he does some things and why he does it, but I just don't like the way he executes. It's actually challenging for me to play against him because like I gotta take deep breaths when I watch a hand, not to tilt.
All right.
So whose game do you like then?
I like my game.
Okay.
This is the 6 buy-in effect.
Yeah, I am happy with my game. I don't know, like on Luca, like he just, I don't know. I feel like some of his stuff is so barbaric, or not barbaric. It's like it's really
raw aggression.
Yeah, it's a bit of that, and it's just like it doesn't feel clever. It never feels clever, or not never, but rarely feels clever. And I think that combined with like how button clicky it feels, I just don't really like his game much, and it's hard for me to see like the positives of his game because of like how viscerally I hate some parts. So yeah, that's the most clear answer I can give. As far as games that I like, that's not me.
Davy?
Yeah, Davy's game's alright. I like it. I mean, I don't love it. I don't play like him for a reason. I think he's really good. It's kind of weird because like sometimes like the most effective game isn't like the game that I like the most. Like going back to Luca, like maybe his game is like super effective, but
it seems like it.
I mean, I don't know, but like it's just it might not be the prettiest, So So I think Davy's got a little bit of that. You know, some things I don't like about his game. But I think he's really good, and he's doing it to exploit people. And then you have people who like are completely not creative, like Pepe, and they're on the other opposite side of things. And I guess I don't really like their game either, so I don't know whose game I like.
Yours.
You must like
No.
Kevin's game, at least.
No, I don't like Kevin's game.
Owen's game.
Yeah, I guess I like Owen's game. Yeah.
The Wacko's game.
I don't know the Wacko's game.
A lot of
Just say
a lot
yes.
of
Just
don't
say yes,
betting.
man. He's in a call with you. Just say yes.
No.
I'm clipping this.
I want to hear Phil Hellmuth's speech. How awesome he is.
No. Yeah, no, I think as far as like games that I like agree with the most, conceptually, Owen would be there up there.
I mean, it's probably because you worked with Owen.
Yeah, we did for a bit.
But you guys still have very different game too, right?
In some ways, yeah. It's not as different as you might think.
Okay.
What do you make so far of Biluzin? He wasn't here last year, right?
I played with him a little bit. I don't know. I feel like he's capable.
Brazilian.
Yeah, he's like Pedro Toledo on GG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made a call versus me that was like, oh, okay. Like clearly doesn't want to be pushed around a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Munez's game a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
You like it or don't like it?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a mid-stakes donk, so you should take it with a grain of salt. But for him, I find him one of the, I would say, like softest or something. Just how it feels. I don't know. If he beats me, it doesn't hurt me or something. You know, it's not that I start doubting everything.
I mean, I could see that he doesn't really put too much pressure on.
Yeah.
And that can feel easier to play against, but I think he's really made a kind of a unique. I mean, there's so many like shit rag pressure rags, you know, that just like, you know, they front load a lot, they tech some backload lines, and they like overvalue hands a little bit, you know, when they think you're capped, and like they don't fold much, you know, like I've seen it a million times. I'm bored of seeing it. And I think Munez is kind of the opposite of that, and kind of does pretty much the opposite everywhere, and makes it work. And I appreciate that.
And you think he's also like kind of like playing his image in some spots where very, I guess, unintuitive spots he might actually use his image.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
Still.
people understand their image. Like an aggro reg will like have 0 bluffs in a spot, you know, and a nit will have bluffs in a spot that, you know, an aggro reg might never bluff because the aggro reg won't get credit, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's him.
Man, it's 4 a.m. and someone's picking up my order on a fucking bicycle. What kind of poverty is this? Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I think everyone kind of has their own approach, and I do like some like there's some stuff that Yasam does that I like. I think a lot of people like just call him retarded because he's retarded, but I think he does some cool stuff. It's just nice to see people do things at a high level that others aren't, you know, and have success.
Yeah, again, as mid-stakes grinder, whatever, I've tried many stuff, and every time I try something cool, I just fuck everything up. So I can see why, especially at the highest level, it's hard to do something completely different and have success, I guess.
But
Or it's also when you
can-
fuck up, you start doubting yourself. That's stuff.
But I don't think you can really force doing something cool. I think doing something cool should be the consequence of like something clicking.
Yeah, of course,
You know,
or working something out and
cannot
solve
just
it.
try to copy someone, or try to just do something cool for the sake of doing something cool. If you understand what I mean.
Don't kill my fancy place syndrome, Dueco. Of course, you're right. No, of course, right. But for example,
I speak from experience. Like,
yeah.
I can reflect on hands and be like, okay, this was just me trying to find something that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Or
No,
this was
I've
like
been
something that
guilty
came
of that,
from
yeah.
intuition,
No, I see what you mean. I've been guilty of that for sure. But I don't know. I see also when I'm playing these guys that are playing right now, or I don't know, or thinking about it, I see a lot of this same style, or well, basically two profiles. The one that Llama described, like the front loader aggro, and then also the kind of GTO stationy. Those two types, I see a lot.
Yeah.
I should go in more detail, but I will spare it for now about the second profile. But it's I guess Linus is a good example of like what you call like backloading, like more dead threat. And then
I wouldn't say that, no.
you wouldn't say that?
No, I don't think Linus would fit cleanly into those two player profiles. But Linus is not like a techie backloader, ain't much at all. He really loves his triple barrel.
Okay.
So I wouldn't put him in that category. I would put him in the stationy category and like aggressive. But I wouldn't give him like the shit reg aggro tard, and I wouldn't give him the opposite of that, whatever that is. I think Linus is pretty clearly like he has a really strong grasp of theory, and he then like tries to tune it to what he thinks is going on. And generally is more aggressive than most.
And a completely different question: have you thought about going on the Wacko podcast? That would be fun.
I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Why not?
The
people want it.
Yeah, man. I'll be interested.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, that's not a hard no.
Yeah, I mean,
we just got reminded a couple times, Renee.
I'd like to see Davy do it.
There's people I stab every year, like Kevin. Kevin probably got tired. But Davy also got tired.
Wait, Davy did it?
No, but I've stabbed at Davy every year. Hey, has your English gotten better?
What's that app called for like languages, Renee?
Duolingo?
Yeah, Duolingo. You get like a daily reminder, and that's basically the Wacko like messaging Davy on Discord.
I'll fund
but then yearly reminder.
I'll fund him a Duolingo subscription.
Or maybe Duolingo sponsorship when he finally comes on.
I think like, there's not much of a value trade-off when it comes to going on the podcast, because it's like I don't really receive anything, but I'm giving away a lot.
Yeah, I think mainly when guys come on, like I always was sent a questionnaire and I always ask, why did you agree to come on? And usually it has just something to do that they want to share their story or they want to help other people. Because you're right, it's like not, if you think about purely from sort of EV trade-off, yeah, it makes no sense. But still, like, it's 65 podcasts now or something. People do want to do it and they want to kind of, share their story and see if they can help other people with their story. That's usually the motivation.
I don't want to help anybody, so.
Yeah, but this poker journey, it's also like a whole battle against yourself or something.
I mean, I think there's a lot
there's
of
more
ego
than
in going on
there's
the
more
podcast.
there's more than
This
just
is-
TV, right? Come on.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think it's a lot of ego. It's like it's fun to see yourself, and there's also validating to go on the Wacko podcast to be considered good enough to go on there and have people like want to listen to what you have to say. But I already know I'm really good. You know, I don't really need that level of validation, while giving away, you know, the supposed EV. Like I do like validation, but I think the trade-off isn't there.
But couldn't you go on there like just to like share your story, and then like you don't have to get too deep into like exploits and advanced strategy? Kind of like you come on the stream here all the time, right? This could be equated
this is all
to
Will whispering.
yeah, this could be equated
The
to
reason
it's
I-
the same thing,
There's
right?
a-
As going on the podcast, yet you do it. So like, what's the difference really? Like, this will be a
What is
more
the difference
structured.
then? I'm curious.
Yeah, so for me, there's two key differences. Coming on here, like I really want to support Coin. I really like what they're doing with poker, and I see like me coming on here, and if people enjoy listening to me, as I've been told, then like more people will be watching these streams and support this so that we can continue having the Coin World Championship. Which is good for me because then I get to play a bunch of retards. I mean,
So, it's good. So there's a clear trade-off there. That's plus a V. Coming on here is plus a V.
yeah, and also like I think I mean that's like kind of like a crass way of putting it, but also I really do like Coin. I'm really grateful to Coin putting this all together, and I put a lot of effort in the first one to kind of get it to come together. Like I did a lot of talking with Cockatee, and like I messaged like a lot of people, some Americans, and like I think like Linus and Davy, like I was the one that kind of brought them on board. So I also feel like a level of like this isn't quite my child, but this is like my stepchild, So I care about the success of it, and once again, I am grateful for what Coin's doing, so I do want to support it. So that's
that makes
kind
sense.
of why I come on here and whatnot.
I think that's probably actually the motivation why most people kind of come on here, and because they like what they're doing, and I think it's a good,
Yeah,
definitely a good motivation.
and you
And
kind of
I
have like
definitely agree with you, like what you said earlier. Like, yeah, I mean, everyone kind of likes talking about themselves to a certain degree. So yeah, that's probably also a reason why people don't mind coming on the podcast. I mean, talking about yourself for a couple hours for most people, it's satisfying. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let me add that it's not something bad.
no, of course not. No,
Just
no.
human nature.
Yeah, and I have it in myself as well. But yeah, like when it comes to supporting Coin, like I have a very clear reason why I'm doing it, and I also like on the Wacko podcast, it's like that's just like you have a really wide reach, and I think it's not exactly great to advertise myself as like a winning online pro,
No, yeah, that makes sense.
So there's just a lot of barriers there.
I do sometimes get. I got a message the other day as well from someone saying, "Hey, can you maybe take down the podcast or at least put it private? I'm trying to get into some live games and it's not helping." Something along those lines.
Yeah, like I think
Like if you look
and
at the
that's
history,
just not what I
there's a
want.
couple episodes missing in my history.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
I
I
was actually
don't want
looking
that.
up one today and I couldn't find it, so that might be a reason. But that might not be him.
Yeah, it turns out Kevin Pack did do a podcast, but he had to take it down to go on Poker Go.
No.
If the podcast would have been stayed up, the Ace-9 would have come through on the river. So
I mean, especially like I think I've had one Dutch guy on. I think one Dutch guy. The other Dutch guys, the all kind of other top Dutch guys have all stalked many times. I think they got tired of me. I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
You gave up Wacko. It was going to work on the 7th time, and then you didn't send that message.
Sorry?
Your request to be on the pod was going to work on the 7th attempt, and then that's the one you didn't send out.
Yeah, no. Like I usually shoot, and then at some point someone can also naturally reach out to me.
Yeah.
Like I had Marcos Ladev reach out. Like I've reached out to him many times, and then suddenly he reached out to me like, "Hey, I'm okay doing a podcast. You want to set something up?" Wow, that's great. So that happens. Can you put up a hand, Johan? It was played on no anti. I don't know how to read these Roman numbers, man. IV.
Okay. No show,
It's no show, yeah. Pocket 10s against pocket 8s. I'm curious what happened
I'll
there.
bring it up. How many hands
We'll
ago was
also
it?
10.
Okay.
Bulezine against Luca Braid.
I got it.
Let me see what happened there.
So this is Bulezine opening 2.3x in the cutoff. Luca goes 12 big blinds in the big blind. How deep are we? 100 big blinds.
Wait,
Exactly.
how do I see it?
On the stream?
On the stream, switch.
It's not on the stream. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's a small delay.
Yeah, use Twitch ideally. There is less delay than YouTube.
Can you link me?
The YouTube
Yes.
chat pros have to wait.
Give me a sec. Okay, I linked it. So 12 bigs, we get a call from Bulezine, 8-7-3 rainbow. And Luca continues big. And we're seeing a lot of these big continues after 3 bets. We get a call, queen of spades on the turn. And it's close to SPR1. And he bets half.
Half. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Like when he's only gonna have like 4K behind left, and there will be a lot in the middle? It will be like 12K.
Yeah, it could be fine.
Half is fine.
And then
But
8 on the
Just
river.
super card for him.
I say, how do you pick the sizing there? And like, do you really think you have any sort of fold equity on the river when you have this little left behind compared to the pot?
I mean, he has some flush draws. So maybe ace jack, ace 10 of spades, 9-10 suited, 5-6 suited. Nah.
I feel like ace jack of spades folds flop.
But
Yeah, you bet a 3/4, right?
should.
Not half.
he
Yeah,
would
it's
follow
quite
through on the river, or he would give up those hands?
No, I'm trying. You said which hands can you fold? Can you
Yeah.
make fold?
No. I mean, Luca here, when he picks this sizing, then how is he going to proceed on river? Like if he has a hand, like say like that misses, or like does he have fold equity in that? Like if he jams river, is he really going to get many hands to fold considering the price Bulezine is going to be getting?
Yeah, but you can also look at it from the opposite perspective. You also don't have to get much fold, right? Because you only risk very little. So yes, he's not going to fold a lot, but he doesn't need to fold a lot.
Okay. We do get a call in on 8 river. He jumps and ends up getting called.
And he had 10s, right?
Yeah.
Tens is super fucking thin, no?
That is what I thought intuitively as well. I was like,
Or what?
fuck.
Is it 5-handed or 4-handed? I might misread the hand. If it is it
No, 4-handed. Cut off big blind.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I thought it was on.
Already like 3/4ing flop. Oh,
It's already overplaying. When you ask
Yeah,
me
right?
like what I think about Luca's game, like this is exactly what I see, and it's like, what do you want me to say?
I was like, is there like some? Is there like, okay, Jack's gonna fold, nine's gonna call. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's a bit of a shitty check. I mean, I guess on this river blocking 9-10 suited, which I guess is the main bluff, you can just check fold. I would assume.
I mean, come on, this is like so obvious. Like he overplays flop, and then turn, he's like, well, I don't want to check fold this, so I might as well just bet. Hopefully he overcalls. And river, it's the same thing.
I mean, this is just not good poker.
Like, but this is the thing, right? You like we just look at it with like Luca Braid, you know, Isaac's Crusher. So we're trying to. When I see this, I think, oh, this is probably some genius merge or something. So I'm gonna try to figure out. But it's good sometimes that someone clarifies that like it is pretty punty.
I think he's
It's just
sick of
bad.
people stationing the fuck out of him, so he's just gonna start doing this stuff probably.
Well, that's his game tree, man. It's like, oh, I'm playing really aggressive. Now I need to go super thin. It's just like you end up punting it off. This isn't fucking 3D chess here. This is just not a good play.
Yeah, but this time he ran into quads. But isn't there a dynamic where people start calling him off like lighter suddenly, and then he's not printing, but you know he's
But I mean,
balancing.
like, there's only like in a 3-bet pot cutoff first big blind. There's only so much hands he can go lighter with. That's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, like we said, like flop is already an overplay. Like in position's not even supposed to 4-bet kings that much, or queens. Aces can flat as well. So I mean, like he's going the B75 spot, saying, "I like this is my jacks plus size," but he's doing it with tens, and he's already up against a bunch of combos that are crushing him. I mean, this is not good.
This would be nice if it's like big blind versus under the gun. You pot the flop and you get nines to call and queens to fold. Something along those lines.
It would be cool.
I still wouldn't like
even
it.
then, like tens is just it's 2-3 value. You can
I mean, this is.
You can check
I mean,
flop
this
on
wouldn't
it.
even be that good. This like heads up. I play a bunch of heads up. This wouldn't even be good heads up.
All right, good to clarify that. That's why I picked out the hand. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Oh wow, are people playing so bad?
I would be interested
See you guys
in
later.
his thought process.
I mean, it is true that people are going to call him down wider because he's aggressive, but that's just overdoing it.
That's not the spot for it. If he had jacks, I
mean-
guess that would probably draw the line, right? Because then you have these tens and nines. Like 6 combos of tens is
I still wouldn't like it with jacks,
make
but
a
at least it's a little bit better. So yeah.
I guess actually the board pair is actually not that bad. The 8 is actually pretty favorable. Reduces 8, 7, 8 suited. I think it reduces more value than it adds, right? Only 8, 9 suited.
Ace 8.
Oh, but that's then 4 combos. Where I guess it's then on the even, right? 7, 8 suited is now 1 combo less. 8 is combos less, so it's the same. It's a neutral card, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, Llama.
Yeah.
Hannes in the chat asked, do you think there is a dynamic in the Cash Game World Championship games where everyone is trying so hard to make sick plays that underbluffing rivers for a wide could be good? And he didn't add which Cash Game World Championship. So I'm curious, maybe we can start with Berbatov and Waco, since you guys played in the mid-stakes as well as following this. Because I remember there was some crazy dynamics there. It felt to me like the first week people were playing like super aggro, like almost like over aggro, finding crazy bluffs. And then the whole pool kind of together adjusted and maybe slowed down and, they try to adapt to this. And then, it was going in waves. So is that a correct assessment of what was happening, or is it much more complicated than that? And what do you guys think on this? Waco, maybe you can go first.
I was going to say this is a very simplified question to something that's a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, pick the right spot, pick the right guy, and yeah, of course you should continue bluffing.
I thought what you said was spot on, Johan. Kind of spot on, especially in the first week. It was way too over aggro. The ranges were way too wide everywhere. It was fun though, but it was just a spew fest.
But do you think it was?
I do thought it was too aggro and shit, but it was fun, of course.
Do you think it was more because people either they had planned it or not, but they were like, oh, there's show tables and we have to adapt, so we're gonna just play super aggro in the start and then get paid for the rest of the thing? Or do you think it's like a couple players did it and then it was like a ripple effect? Everybody was like, oh, these guys are doing this, I'll do this too, I can be this aggro.
That is what the winner did, right? I don't know if you've seen the interview that we did with him, but he was like making a lot of advertisement and then later capitalizing quite hard on his image and going very thin for value and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, but that would make sense after I played him. Because I
Did
thought
you
in the
triple
first week
off
he was very good. He was doing shit like that. Yeah. He was doing shit like that. That's also why I was also surprised that he won in the end.
Yeah, so like it was like I was talking to him, it was like this was exactly my experience. Like 1 week
Yeah,
ago,
no, I do
he
agree. I do
switched
agree.
it up
Yeah.
completely, and he would
Yeah.
like he would go for spots, right? So he would show a ridiculous hand where he was just going for the spot, and then you remember that hand and you kind of just mark it, and you're like, this guy is bananas, you know? Because if you do this with that means you do this with basically anything. So, and then later he started to go very thin, and I think he had a good feel of what was going on and adapted pretty well. Like it seemed like he was every time one step ahead, or at least against me.
And for the show tables, for me, it's like a part of like folding or calling. Like besides EV or strategy, it's still like an emotional game and shit, and you don't really have that insecurity when you fold, right? When it is show. I don't know. I folded in the beginning pretty well, and then I saw so many crazy shit that I had to adjust. But for me, it worked. So the show tables made me fold maybe a bit more. At least for me. But I can't project in others. Some people were stationing well, others were not.
Okay, and then to you, Lama. Maybe we can adjust the question a little bit because, okay, I don't know if you heard the question. The question specifically was, do you think there is a dynamic in the Cash Game World Championship games where everyone is trying so hard to make sick plays that underbluffing rivers for a while could be good? So then to add to this, I myself would ask, since it's such a small pool or a smaller pool of players than the mid-stakes championship, there is about like 55 players, I think, so far. And the quality of the players, do you think they would pick up very quickly on the fact that somebody's doing that and then just adjust very easily?
You know, that everyone's reading into something. I try not to play that game too much. I think there is a little bit of that going on for sure. And I think some people like have their egos triggered when they see they get bluffed when they wouldn't normally. But yeah, I just try and play my game. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I'm not good at it.
Well, I had one hand with you, Renee, where you bluffed me in the challenge. That was in the end because I was kind of burning out, even though I was still like racing for first, basically, and already that going on. Yeah, I did 200 BB, and I had like a good combo to call down. I don't know exactly my combo, but like a good combo, board pair plus.
I had a good combo to bluff from what I understood.
Yeah, you had queen jack or something, and I just followed like sort of the reverse gamble, like just fucking show me the nuts, you know, and just that bluff and yeah, that one triggered me really. That was a nice one, mate.
Yeah, unfortunate, man. I just had I had a good combo. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I just it's, you know, that sort of reverse gamble, right? You just fold and you just hope to see like the nuts and it's all good and we're not gonna lose sleep about it and just that fucking bluff. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But like I said, like I personally, like if I would see that hand, I don't recall it exactly, but I'm pretty sure my hand was like, yeah, if you can think of a bluff, this is it.
Yeah,
I would be more upset if I just show something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Like you,
yeah, that happened as well.
I was gonna say, I usually don't do things that are too ridiculous, but then I was like, oh, that's maybe also not completely true. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
By the way, Waco, I tried Brain FM and I played like absolute garbage. That thing is not for me, or maybe it takes some time adjusting.
Man,
but
no money back guarantees here. Come on.
What are you trying, Johan?
Waco was talking about how he was listening to Brain FM. It's like kind of like ambient sound / like light music to have in background that helps you focus better.
These brainwaves.
Yeah.
I use it as well sometimes, actually.
It didn't work for me.
Hey, man,
it tilted the hell out of me, in fact.
But ever
advertised
since
I advertised them on the podcast, man. Made me some money. So
Really? That's sick.
Oh, that's nice. I ever since Tuesday or something, I switched up my plan and I started having this epic music in the background. I saw it on a stream once from some poker player who was playing 10K. I think he's in the call.
How did Flushy fold?
I think.
It's too good.
Oh, you're playing? What the fuck? I didn't even know you were playing. I was just giving you credit for the epic music you put on your stream, Lama.
Oh, thank you.
motivated you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm now playing on that, and my VVSF is going 56, and my green line is going down to the ground. But that's okay. I'm just a warrior right now, man, with that music.
But hey, at least you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And in the end, having fun, at some point will translate into winnings.
Yes. And when that too happens, I will be the first to have my victory lap on the podcast.
Nice. That's when you know that you've made it.
Yeah. yeah.
Someone said that once, I think, in the podcast.
Yeah, but this for me, it's like, well, that's also, it's Lama's opinion, of course, but I disagree. I think, you're doing something, you're pursuing something in your fucking house, behind the computer all these years. And, it's fine to then reflect on the podcast and, be proud of yourself and all that shit. I think it's cool as well. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then there's also this component of, I don't know, having achieved something or something.
Yeah. I agree. Actually, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. Actually, I have to prepare for a podcast tonight because the guy sent me a lot of things to go through to.
With Marcos Ladev?
No, unfortunately, I have not been able to schedule yet with him. I'm gonna have a podcast with interesting guy, Enrico something, Italian MTT player. Enrico.
I'm not so familiar with MT guys.
What is love online?
What?
From the research that I've done so far, this has potential to be a great one.
Okay.
Could be a legendary.
Has Luca been on your thing?
Luca Braid, yeah.
Yeah. I like that one as well. I really like the one with the Enlight. That's my favorite.
I should watch that one.
Yeah, I thought actually the one with Luca Braid was very strong. Do you know, by the way, why Absolute Top Up is not playing, Llama?
Yeah, I messaged him. Let me see what he said.
I did a podcast with him as well, and I thought he was very bright. I said it's early in the stream. Like, usually I'm motivated after podcasts, but after him, I was like, oh, if you're up against these type of guys.
Yeah, I have that sometimes as well after watching. Like, this guy is such a fucking nerd, or it comes across as so smart, like, there's no point in
and actually used to be study buddies.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, back when we both battled 2K on Ignition. And he's actually the reason why I started playing ECR, because he was doing it and had some success. And I was like, all right, send it, I guess. All right, what do you say? Oh, he has family visiting and he's traveling with them with the holidays. He's just a low volume here.
Doesn't have Coin Poker like an app or a browser feature? Like, what, you're a Degen or not? Just fucking play, man. What's the problem?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was trying to schedule actually with Rigged right after the pot, and I think we had a date, but then he canceled the date, and later I tried to reschedule, but it never really happened. But I will try again after this challenge.
Yay RR1 says, Llama, with whom do you study now?
I don't study with anyone.
With God.
We just need to listen closely who he gives credit, and then we know who he's studying with.
Munis.
Owen and I did a lot.
Wouldn't you mind studying with Munis?
Owen and I did a lot of studying.
I wouldn't believe that, Marco, because Llama doesn't fault and Munis does.
But yeah, I mostly just I run my own sims. Occasionally do the wizard stuff as well, and I just kind of play around, and mostly for me, it's like about getting volume in. So I pretty much sim every single spot. I probably check like 100 spots a day. And then
Isn't that
occasionally,
amazing?
like, yeah, you think so?
Nah, I'm joking. Nah, it's good work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do like in depth for all of them, but then like if I go through a spot and there's something like I don't fully understand, then I go through it until I understand.
I think
And
also
that
like
to
the
me
way
is telling.
you study changes, right? When you get to a certain level, like it's more like checkups, and you kind of go where your curiosity goes. Whereas in the beginning, obviously, the most people listening and railing, they still have to go to the lab, build their strategies, and it looks very different.
Yeah, for sure. My own study process has changed, and I just don't think I need other people's opinions in it for the most part. It's like they're not going to give me more valuable information than the solver, unless it's like some goated exploitative stuff. But it's hard to say like whose exploit's actually good, unless you're just doing like end mining database analysis, right? But then once again, you don't really need someone's opinion to do that. You can just look at it yourself. So I think people are like really useful to take advantage of when you're like moving up. But at a certain point, it's like you gotta focus on your own game and do your best there.
And I guess also at some point, like I said, the guys that you would talk strategy a lot with, these are also straight away your direct competitors, which is true in mid takes as well, but obviously less.
Yeah, it's actually a very, very salient point. It's like, Linus and I will occasionally talk strategy, but it's like, are we really going to be super open about it? Actually, Flushy and I talk strategy.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll talk heads up strategy.
But those are like the only two guys who are willing to play you on a regular, right? That.
Yeah, Linus
Maybe
and
they're trying
Flushy
to throw you a curveball there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm the fish and they're whale whispering.
Lama, I have a question. Is there any chance you would consider going on a pod to tell like about your life story and share stories about poker with in mind that like you wouldn't end up oversharing?
I mean, it's something worth considering. I think that the time that I decide to do that, I mean, who really gives a shit about my story? I mean, you're gonna say
many
you do,
people.
But, like, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like raised by a single mom, like, and I got kicked out of high school, and I had to make it work. Like, that's the story.
Yeah, that's even better than some sort of easy success story.
But
shows the power of necessity.
I really like the idea of working for myself, and I tried different things, and eventually poker came to me in a kind of unique way, and I was addicted, and I made it work. But I think the time that I decide to do a podcast, it would also be like if I were trying to build like a name brand, or like start up a coaching program, or maybe like swap over to like half stake, sponsored stake streamer or something like that. Like it would be to make myself money, I guess, at the end of the day.
Do you think everything has to be like that? It couldn't be just you like sharing a bit of your story? Like earlier there was the question asked of like what do guests on podcasts get back in return, because they're sharing a bunch. Like in a way it could be like giving back, right? Because poker in a way, right, has given you wealth and like many things. I was going to say stability, maybe not the right word for this, but yeah, you've definitely reached a certain amount of wealth, and there is this in everything, right? Like they always ask before drafting basketball players, they always ask them like, what are you going to do after your career? And then like the best answer that players should give a lot of the time is like, I'm going to give back to basketball and like see what I can do, whether it's like as an analyst or a coach or whatever. So in the same way here, this could be applied to poker. So don't you feel like this would be giving back in a way, like sharing your story, which might inspire some people?
Yeah, I think there's probably an argument there. As long as I guess, I'm open to being generous or giving when it doesn't like directly affect my bottom line. But at the moment, it kind of does because of my own presence in live poker and whatnot. So yeah, like what I'm trying to say is that like it actually like it actively costs me. Like I don't mind giving a couple hours to talk, and I do like talking about myself too. But it would cost me in that way. So unless I was like trying to transition into like this is my brand and this is how I want to spread it, then that might be an option. But until then, it's just like I mean, even spending time on Coin Poker, like, and people are like, oh, like, you're C Llama when I'm like playing live poker, and it's like that's just not what I want to be hearing. I mean, the other day, Yolan saw. He saw when I.
Yeah, he was one of them, right?
What was that?
He was one of those guys. Ah, C Llama.
Yeah, so he actually messaged someone that I know through live poker who's not like, not the best poker player. Let me put it that way. Kind of a VIP. He messaged a VIP. It's like, oh, how do you know C Llama? And this guy's like, who the fuck's C Llama? And he's like, oh, it's Kier. It's like, okay, that's not what I want to be happening.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, and it's like a lot of people know, but still, not everyone does. So.
Right, guys, I'm heading out. Was fun hanging out with you, Llama. Best of luck.
Thank you,
Joost,
buddy.
you also best of luck grinding back to high stakes again.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. It was nice to talk to you, man.
Thank you for being on.
Are you from Brazil, by the way?
Yes.
I would love to go back there. Yeah. If I go, I will contact you. I would love to go back, man. I like time of my life there when I was there. I love it.
You like the Brazilian booties, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but no, everything, nice people, beautiful woman, all that shit. It was really, really great.
Yeah, man, it's a great place.
Thank you for being on,
If
Wako.
you're coming, reach out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do, man.
If you have any shout-outs, YouTube, social media.
No shout-outs. Oh, from that perspective, yeah, guys, check out Mechanics of Poker.
On YouTube and Instagram, right?
And Brain FM.
Oh my god!
Mechanics or something. I don't know what the code is.
All right, thanks, Wako.
All right, guys.
Thanks. I think I'm going off as well, guys. Yo, I will definitely come on again sometime. I'll just message you, or feel free to message me when you want to go online.
For sure, dude. Thank you so much for being on. Yeah, you can message me anytime we're live, or if you ever want to schedule in advance, either is fine. You're always welcome on the stream.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. As I said, like especially in January, I really enjoy because now I'm on the grind a lot. I'm like studying it a lot or following it, or if something interesting happens in the challenge, I'm just trying to learn from it or whatever. And then it's also nice when I'm besides playing to reel the stream a bit of shit. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, thanks.
All right, Llama, it was nice to meet you, man. Wish you good luck in the challenge.
Nice meeting you, bro.
All right, bye. Cheers.
Have a good day.
Bye.
And then there were two. I'm gonna go off too soon, but
sounds good.
You just starting your session, or you were up already and playing earlier?
I was already playing earlier. I just saw that tables were open, so I had to hop in for a bit. But I won't play long.
During the 4 weeks of the championship, is this the only thing you play, or you just like mix in, whatever runs or some other games you might be able to get into?
This is the only thing I play.
Okay.
I really, really enjoy playing this. Like I really, really enjoy playing this.
Yeah, that's sick.
I mean, it's so much fun. You know, even Marinelli, I was talking to him, and you know, he's not doing too well, but he's like, this is just like so much fun, and it is just like 10K battles every day. Everyone's here showing up. You know, everyone has their own, you know, unique way of playing. Somewhat like everyone's a little bit different. Like there's not a single guy in the challenge that plays exactly the same as the next. I guess Pepe and are all pretty similar, but other than that, like, you know, there really isn't, you know, that much crossover, and so you get to play against all these, you know, pretty smart guys. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's a great time.
And the show tables, I guess, is a part of it, right?
Yeah, I enjoy those show tables. I also kind of like the no show tables too, because like I feel a little cheeky getting a bluff through on the show tables, but getting a bluff through on the no show tables, like nobody knows. You know?
Except you.
Yeah. But this is a lot of fun. You know, I think it's the perfect stake. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great time. It completely scratches my poker itch. I don't need to play anyone else. Barrel there.
Once a year is enough, or you would like to see more high stakes championship?
Oh, I mean, I would love to see more.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be all the time, because then like it wouldn't be so good. But somewhere in between, you know, maybe like, I mean, at least twice a year, I think we could put this together reasonably. Also, like, you know, if we keep it at like 1 month, then it makes a lot of sense to do it twice a year. Last time it ran a really long time, so it was understandable to not have more. But,
Is there anything you would adjust from the current format?
Yeah, there are some things. I have to give me a sec to think about them. Some things I would like to see is, I would like to see like some structured way of handling these tables, because sometimes there'll be like 3 tables running, maybe 4 tables running, and 3 of them are full.
Yeah.
So I would like to see like there's got to be some mathematical way or whatever to make it so that like some of these tables split up a little bit. I would like something along those lines. Maybe even like, I mean, what I would really like to see, I think it'd also be a lot more fair, because there's, even though like most people really aren't doing this, but there is like some small bum hunting going on, and there is some table selection. Like even myself, I'm probably like the least table selecting guy, but if I see, I mean, Davy on one table and Davy not on the other table, like I might choose the other table, you know.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool to see something like a 10K Zoom format, you know. That way, if a fish, you know, hops in, or weaker players hop in, like you have equally likely a chance of playing against them.
It's very hard to make
really cool.
those things fair. It's kind of like tickets for concerts and sports events. You have like this huge problem that's scalpers, and then now some places they started adding some extra securities that, you know, is going to make it more difficult for scalpers to get tickets, including there are lotteries, like for the World Cup of football, for example. Is that there's like this huge lottery you sign up for, and then if you win, you get an email. I mean, I've never won it. That's just what I heard. It's like you get an email or something, and then you have a certain amount of time to get online and like claim your ticket. You need to buy it with this, otherwise it goes to the next person. So they try to make it a bit more fair. But yeah, in poker, it'd be very interesting, like how exactly that would work. I don't know. It seems, no matter what happens, it would be complicated.
The Zoom tables.
Yeah.
You know those are?
Yeah, I know, but I mean the software is already for a long time there's like a revamp coming up. It just doesn't sound feasible for now. Like in a perfect world, if they could make it happen, yeah, sure. But
well, yeah, we're talking about what I'd like to see, not necessarily what's currently achievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like, I really like. I have a lot of respect for everyone who's playing, even though I may call them retards. You know, I think I do have respect. I mean, anyone who's playing is just okay. I have ace king, so I guess we're flipping. Oh, he has ace king too. Forgot what I was gonna say. Playing this hand. Oh, ace king again. You know, I have a lot of respect, and I think this is great. You know, I love that everyone's doing their best out here. Ooh, Yasam just called me with king high. Cool. Nice hand.
what about the amount of players here? We mentioned, like, for example, Absolute Top Up here didn't play, although last time he was someone with decent volume. But the last Cash Game World Championship, unique entrants were 43. Here we're already at 57, and then today I saw some new names, Gamble and Cherry Sweet, so we're close to 60. So are you surprised that some extra people compared to last time were able to get in there?
I mean, I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I was worried actually that we were going to see less people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that the advertising was done very well on Coin Poker side. And like I just like maybe like the first year was just kind of gimmicky, you know. But I'm really glad to see the turnout. I was a little worried. So, all right, what was the question?
Yeah, no, about the unique players entering and playing.
Yeah, we have like 10 or 12 more than last year, right?
I think it's more because currently...
Last year we had 44.
No, it was 43, I think. Well, 44 because I was listed, but I didn't play. It was just like a joke on the thing. Because it was like a giveaway thing. So it was 43, and then now on the leaderboard at the latest update, there was 57. But it doesn't include Gamble, who played today, and Cherry Sweet, who played today. So really, we're at 59. So it's a pretty good increase. And we're only 8 days right now into the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome to see.
And obviously, some people play low volume, and they might not, keep on playing, and they were only there for a couple hundred hands or 1K hands. But still, I think it's really nice.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the volume does kind of die down towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love to see it. I love to see it. And
I'm checking the leaderboard.
does it.
Some guy played one hand. he lost $226. He paid his big blind and he called a raise. He folded on the flop. That's so sick.
That's funny.
Alaf's Paradox asked, when playing live, how do you not get bored out of your mind with the low hands per hour?
So I do this little thing where I play every position like it's heads up, and then just try and outskill them post flop. And it's great advertising. Yeah, I get pretty bored. I think I pass the time by. I mean, I do actually kind of do that, but I think when you're playing Squid and whatnot, there's a little more action, and then just I like playing with people I like playing with. Like I'm not gonna go play a 50-100 where everyone's just putting their earphones in. Like I'd rather blow my brains out, honestly. So I just chat with the people around, and for me, it's like it's a little bit of a social club. Obviously, like everyone's there to make money, even the recreationals. But You're also there to have a good time and whatnot.
Did you scold Yolan, by the way, for telling someone about you online?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, those are very
It was my own
interesting.
mistake.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was my own mistake.
Mm. Yeah, there are some interesting dynamics. Actually, so there is a player we both know that came on a bunch of times, and apparently he may have like lost some action because somebody recognized something of his when he came on the stream. So I was like, maybe a voice scrambler could help here, you know? And then people don't know, like, imagine if he'd done that from the start, they would have never really known, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I'm managing it. Like, it would be better to be like very sweet and nobody fucking knows.
Yeah.
The time has kind of passed for that. Now I just try and keep it as much of a secret as somewhat possible. Living my life. Dude, did you play the Mid-Stakes Championship or what's going on?
Me?
Yeah,
Bro, I played only with 50. I played a couple orbits, though.
there you go. How'd you go?
I got cooked. I barely won a hand. Yeah, not something that I could do in this one, playing a couple orbits. I think even one hand I cannot. I don't have the balance.
You should play one orbit. Maybe you can double up.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. I'm realistic about my skill. That's the thing. Like some people will be, oh, like, you know, what's the worst that can happen? Well, you're gonna lose 10K in 2 hands.
Yeah, I've had that happen. Also, like when you're trying not to lose, you sometimes just lose so much more.
Yeah.
Gotta bite the bullet. I mean, there've been some spots I've been in where it's just like, if I was a nit or whatever, I would have just gotten ruined.
I think people do that way too much. That's one thing that I try to combat as much as possible, is not thinking too much about how much I'm up or down while I'm playing. But yet everybody does it somehow. It's crazy. No, it's not the show table.
I was bluffing myself.
Are you happy with the volume you've played in this? It seems like you've played about a bit less than 1K hand a day. Very good volume.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit more than I wanted to play actually. Ace Jack Company. Oh, I rivered the nuts. I had Jack 9. I had a full. Yeah, I'm happy with the volume we've put in so far. What you got? 4-5. Nice hand.
Any skiing trips this winter?
For sure. I haven't gone yet, obviously, but I will be going. I love skiing. I'll probably go to Bryan Head since it's like right outside of Vegas.
It's pretty crazy you can ski so close to Vegas.
Yeah, and then there's like Tahoe, which is just a few hours outside of that. So, yeah, I will be going skiing as soon as possible. What about you?
No, I don't know. Like, I went skiing a bunch of times. I'm a little bit worried about injuries, especially knee-wise.
Mhm.
One of my friends got a really bad injury. It's so unlucky. He came to ski for a few days. Literally, the last slope, the last turn. It's like such a... It looks like an innocent fall as well, and he just like snapped his knee. I'm a little bit traumatized. I've hurt my knee before doing other sports.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that for skiing or snowboarding?
Skiing, yeah.
Oh,
You're not worried about injuries? You feel indestructible still? You're like still in your 20s. That's normal. Just you wait.
I have injured myself snowboarding. I popped out I dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah.
And like kind of tore the ligaments. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's a trade-off, you know?
Yeah.
I love it so much, so. I mean, I try and be safe, obviously, like, not be stupid while I'm out there. But
Apparently it's raining a lot in Vegas. I saw a video earlier of like some flooded street near the link.
oh yeah, that's there's storm drains over there, and that's it's doing what it's supposed to. It's not flooding. But yeah, it has been raining. Haven't been able to play any pickleball. Yeah. I actually really enjoy it. I leave my door open at night and just like go to sleep listening to it.
Yeah, there's something calming about hearing the sound of, you know, nature outside, whether it's like rain or like leaves and trees.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I personally, I love rain. I love the sound of water. It's very soothing for me. It's like there's a big hand going on between Fleshy and Yasam. There's this like 3-bet B50 flop.
Checked around on the turn.
Yeah.
Interesting to see some players not having run twice. CJ.
Who's that?
Like, I think Pilusin and Pepe. Or you? Do you have run twice? Or maybe it doesn't appear when you're not in the hand?
Yeah, I run twice on.
Oh, okay, so the R thing, it only appears if you're in the hand, I guess. Ooh, all in.
Interesting line going on here.
Oh, I get the call.
So I love that call. I love that call.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's a great call. So actually, what was the action on that?
Flush's hand was must bluff on the river?
No. Let's see what the action was.
I'm watching your hand.
Oh, it's a 4-bet. It's a 4-bet. Oh, wow. Flushy really did do that. Guy 1-3 versus Yasam. So yeah, Flushy 4-bet.
Oh, he checked back with the flush draw.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I don't like the call as much now knowing the action.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's not like a bad call, like whatever. It's just I thought he half pot the flop and then called after blocking the river. I didn't know it was I didn't know that was the action. But it kind of an interesting, like Flushy just saying, I checked back aces twice, or like I have ace-9 suited or something. I don't know. Not repping a whole lot.
How would you rate the call then by Yasam?
I mean, I think it's just like without in depth into it, it just feels like a standard, like indifferent, like kind of bullshit spot, which like doesn't mean that it's not a good call or a bad call. It's just not as interesting to me anymore.
Yeah.
Having thought the action was fascinating and I liked it. In the 4-bet pot, it's just a basic like Ranger's cat.
Do you think it's hard sometimes to like play different stakes? Like some of you guys that play in this, obviously this is not even 10K, but some of you guys have played for insane amounts. Flushy is one of those. Like he just played the huge million heads up with the Finnish guy. And then now he's playing no limit 10K. Like in comparison, it just feels like almost like minuscule. Do you think it's hard sometimes to be able to stay locked in and take this as serious because of that? Or is he able to just like, yeah?
I mean, I can't speak to Flushy. I think Flushy's, kind of a unique individual. So, I don't know. But me personally, it's always been challenging to stake mix myself, and I think I struggled with that last year a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it could be part of the so well as like for him, 10K is just on the small side. Like Linus never plays 10K the year. He just doesn't. He'll play 20K. That's the smallest he plays. So, yeah, I think it's a skill that you have to learn. I don't think you just naturally have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think personally.
Does that maybe encourage Linus to then not play anymore in the challenge, considering he went down 185K in EV, but in result-wise, he actually ran even worse. He's down 240K, almost a quarter of a million. So does he just look at this and say, all right, screw this micro stakes challenge, like I'm done? Or do you think he might be like, yeah, you know what, I want to play more. I want to see if I can come back.
I have zero expectation that he quits. I think he...
Really?
Oh yeah. From my own understanding of Linus, he's got more of an ego compared to someone like Flushy. And so him quitting, I think, is him like kind of letting himself down. And I just don't see him like in his mind. I don't know. Like I'm psychoanalyzing a guy I've spoken to a few times, and
yeah,
I consider him my friend, but I do think that he's the type of guy that like is like he like fights back harder. Like he doesn't just like move on. He's going to prove himself, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if that's ego as much as it could be just being competitive, like wanting to compete.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of crossovers, and I'm not saying ego in a way that's bad.
Yeah.
Ego is like a very important thing. I have a giant ego. I mean, anybody who's heard me talk, and I think it's a good thing. And like, if you don't have an ego, then you can't be number one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Linus has been considered number one or close to for years, so of course the guy has a fucking ego. But yeah.
What about
like when I speak to Flushy, he comes across as like someone who is curious about poker,
Yeah.
And told this story before, but Linus, Flushy, and I, like, there were a few times where we were playing on call, And I was doing really well versus Fleshy at first, and I thought he wasn't like that great, you know. At least like results, I thought he was fine, but like results wise, I was doing well, and you know there were some stuff in his game I didn't think was great, but there was this moment. He ended up winning it all back, so I'll just skip ahead there. There was this moment where we were playing a hand, and I don't remember the hand to be honest, but basically I did something kind of retarded. Like I kind of did like a Luca play, you know, and it was intentional. Like I meant to overplay my hand essentially, so that in a spot that like he was going to call too wide, something like that. And I did that, and he called, and basically, quote unquote, got owned, right? And instead of being like, "Oh wow, you're a fucking retard," you know, or "You're a dumbass," or like, "What the fuck was that?" It was like he paused. I could hear the silence, and he just went, "Interesting," you know. And I was like, it was that moment I knew, like, this guy who is not like the others, you know, like, you know, it's so easy to have other people just have their egos get involved in the spot and then like play poorly versus you or whatever. And Fleshy didn't do that. He just like, he saw what I did. He understood why I did what I did. He even took the criticism, like basically like when I did something retarded versus him, part of the reason people get upset is because that's a criticism of your game. It's me thinking that you're not good enough. So I'm going to do something retarded to make money versus you. And so people like they react to that really poorly, you know? And
Yeah.
they like deny the logic that existed in that hand, because if they accept it, then that's them saying that I did something good versus them, you know? And when I was less good at poker, you know, like even like a year or 2 years ago, like I relied on that kind of stuff a lot. Just like tilting people with kind of retarded shit so that they would play worse versus me. And I did that play versus Fleshy, and he didn't get wrapped up. His ego did not get wrapped up whatsoever.
He didn't flinch.
He didn't flinch, man. He took the information, absorbed it, didn't take it personally that I was saying you suck, you know, I'm gonna do this and you're not gonna play well versus it. He didn't take that personally. He just fucking understood why I did what I did, and he absorbed it, you know. And it
That's
was
scary.
at that moment that, yeah, it's very scary. And it was at that moment that I knew that like he was a little bit different than some of the other guys I've played. And I was like, okay. You know, you play anyone else, like you should see my DMs. People fucking they DM me some nasty shit. They're like, you fucking retard. Like I had Gail calling me some names recently. It's just like anyone who's reacting like that, like I'll never lose to. Someone that can go, interesting, and like decode my game tree is a scary individual.
It's kind of funny, actually, like human nature. Like you would think if somebody's making dumb plays, you would never be, like you should really realistically never be telling them anything. Don't even like hint that they're doing something bad, because that's something that's good for you in the long run. But it's like because of our emotions, sometimes we can't help ourselves, and then we have to say something.
Well, yeah, and like I said, it's because when someone does something dumb versus you and is successful, it's an affront. It's an assault to you. It's them saying essentially that you're not good enough, that they have to play good, that they're allowed to do this retarded thing versus you. And especially when it's successful, like that's like it's hard to accept that someone's dumb play is successful versus you. And so like it's an attack on your ego. And so when you see someone saying like, oh, you're retarded, that's them trying to protect their ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was a dumb play. Said that it's not them like you know, like you said, like the smartest thing if someone really did do something stupid is just be quiet, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for Fleshy as a player. Not like as like a skilled like fucking like you know, understands all the intricacies of a solver, because I've spoken to the guy and he doesn't have it like locked down like that. It's I should have left. I'm talking too much.
What about sorry, you want to add something?
No, it's fine.
I was gonna ask, what about going into the? I'm gonna preface my question with something. Going into the last Cash Game World Championship, I had very little knowledge who the high stakes guys are. You know, like from the outside, I was like way more of like a casual poker. Like you always know the big names in tournaments because that's what gets advertised. But Cash, you know, doesn't really get much marketing ever. So it's like if you ask me, you know, back in the day, I would be like the cheesy ones. You know, Patrick Antonius, Tom Dwan. But nowadays, if you'd ask me like who are like some top regs in high stakes, I probably would have said like, you know, MMA Sherdog and like somebody else, because that's the little bit of videos that I watched and like who I could think of. But then obviously I learned a lot about who some of you guys were, and then I saw that screenshot, like the end of the year full results, where LLinus was like super up high, but Barak was also very high on that list with like a pretty strong win rates. And in this challenge, Barak hasn't played a ton, and I don't think
he's played some.
Yeah. Oh no, actually no, he does. Never mind. He has 5.6. Okay, I was missing.
Yeah, he has quite a few wins.
So yeah, what do you think about? Also, like there was this interesting thing. Like you and Owen, you were saying. I don't know if he was like fully joking or halfway joking, but that theory-wise, maybe he wasn't necessarily the best. But then I remember I saw that screen cap of like the end of the year, and he was like top 3 with some of the biggest earnings. So
he doesn't have good theory. No.
Sorry? Oh, he doesn't have good theory?
No, he doesn't.
But then is he just like one of those exploit geniuses?
To an extent, yeah. That's basically what he is.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. I just got called by ace high and king high correctly twice. Nice hand, buddy. Yeah, is more side of things. And yeah.
What would you prefer to excel at? Exploits or theory? Or you think it has to be a balance always?
I mean, I guess theoretically I'd prefer to excel at exploit, because that's just getting the right answer, right? Theory is you saying I don't know the right answer, so here's what a GTO said, or here's what a robot says I should do.
Yeah, but the question is almost against population, or like the games that you're gonna be in. Which one is winning more?
Because it's like, how good is your exploit? It's kind of a silly question.
Okay.
Like, are you saying would I rather be Barack or myself? I'd rather be my.
No,
like,
no, that's not how I would interpret the question. I don't know exactly how to ask it in a way that conveys what I was thinking. I'm saying like, if you weren't you and somebody gave you a choice, you either like your top 1 exploit in the world, but top 50 theory, or your top 1 or vice versa, you know, then which one would you choose to prioritize? It doesn't have anything to do with you specifically.
Could you phrase that question again?
Okay, so let's say like you're a poker player, but you're not necessarily like at high stakes yet, but somebody tells you like you get to choose in the future, depending on how you study now. You can either be top 1 theory, but top 50 exploits, or top 1 exploits and top 50 theory. Then which way would you want to go towards?
Top 1 exploits, top 50 theory for sure.
Okay, interesting. And that's
for sure, it's not even close.
Is it because that makes more money, or you think it's just more enjoyable to play like this, or?
Maybe both. I mean, it's gonna make way more money because it's like, it's because like, If you are the value gap from the 50th place in theory and the first place in theory is much smaller than you might think, because theory kind of has like, it has
A cap.
Well, I don't want to say that. I want to say that it has diminishing returns.
Okay.
I guess Fleshy's quitting too.
So he has a ceiling on just what it can do for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I ended up losing 2K. Oh well, 3K actually. Yeah, because there's only so much that like knowing like a little percent here, a little percent there, like the level of effort required to go from maybe let's just I'll just throw myself under the bus. The level of effort required to go from my level of theory, to Linus's level of theory is quite high. But the amount of money that we're making, like the money difference is minimal.
Okay.
And so being top 50 theory in the world is like already pretty freaking good. So if you're then the number one exploiter, you're going to be making so much more money than someone who's just like awesome at theory, because you're not playing robots. You're playing real people with real dynamics, and it still matters.
Yeah,
that's good. That's like there's trade-offs, and I guess at the highest level of things, exploit's is gonna have more use. Like for example, like if you were to, I mean, like I don't know how well, you probably don't know theory that well if you're playing 50 NL. It's just like if you were to essentially play against the bot, right? And there's this hand that is supposed to call 5% of the time. If you were to call that hand 100% of the time, you're not going to lose any money, even though it's only supposed to call 5% of the time. Now, if you, I mean, within reason, but like in general, like if you overcall break-even spots, you're not going to lose money versus theory. But if you are a human and hey, this fucker overcalls, and you start playing like Luca, triple barreling tens, you're gonna make a lot more money, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's a good example. Like there's only so much money you can make with theory. I think theory is mostly to kind of have an idea of what things should look like, and it's also very useful if you don't have any reads, but it's mostly just about having the structure. And if you have like a decent structure, then the rest is just kind of, using extra information to execute. So, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I wonder actually,
and
if you...
also really important, one more thing
Yeah.
on that is like, it's not just you trying to take their money. It's also you not losing money to them. Right?
Yeah.
I think so many people think of poker as like an aggressive thing. Like I'm sitting here to take money, but it's also you want to sit there and not lose money. And theory is like a really good way of becoming difficult to deal with so that people can't take money from you. And then, as long as like, once again, like as long as you have that structure and people can't take money from you, then you can use your brain to take money from people in other spots. So it's like a defense, and then exploit is like kind of that spear. As long as you have a decent defense, I'd rather have a better spear.
Yeah. That's super interesting, because now it makes me think like going through stakes. Let's say like we start at micro, we go like a little bit above, mids, and then eventually to high. If we polled every player pool and then we asked them the same question I asked you, I do feel like a lot of these guys would pick the theory over the exploits, thinking that's that's what would make them the most potentially, or like what would help them the most.
Well, you gave me top 50 and top 1. If I like, I mean, theory is more important than exploitative. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying at the top end, like if I were to tell you what to do, like I wouldn't tell you to learn exploit because there's no basis. Like any beginner, even like lower stakes guys, like they should focus on theory. They should focus on themselves so that they're not leaking money.
Yeah.
And then like figure out how to do some exploits here and there. But I mean, I'm I'm not that much of an exploitative guy. I mean, I kind of have my things, but for me, it's more important that I don't lose money to people.
Yeah, okay. Great answer.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna head off then.
thank you for being on as always. And if you have any last words or shout outs before you go, the floor is yours.
No, I don't. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good day. Laters.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. That was very enlightening. Love that discussion and answer here. John Cena said, "Damn, CLM is giving out the secrets to all the plebs." Yeah, no, that's gonna be it, guys, for now. I will be back later tonight, supposedly. I mean, it depends when the games run and who I can find to hang out with me, but I appreciate everybody who tuned in. As always, shout out to all our guests. We had the Wacko join us first, then Lama and Berbatov about the same time to hang out for a while and chat. Make sure to give a follow to CoinPoker and PokerStrategy on all their socials. So CoinPoker would be CoinPoker off on X, PokerStrategy.com on both YouTube and Twitch, and PokerStrategy on X. That's where the leaderboard updates are posted, and there's the link as well, which you can open and bookmark if you want to keep up with the leaderboard updates that happen daily. I think usually it's between 9 a.m. and noon Central European time is when the leaderboard updates happen daily. So just can keep that in mind, depending on how closely you wanna follow that. But yeah, thank you guys. If you guys want to follow me, it's Johan Merlo on Instagram, Todd on Twitch. I stream mostly games, but sometimes cards. And yeah, we're probably back tonight. Much love, everyone. Have a good day until then. See you soon. Bye-bye.